Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday Thursday night fan forum with us guys at Forever Sports and Forever Rugby. As you can see, I've got some of the boys here with me. We got Roots, we got Wes, we got Daniel. How you doing, boys?
Like Chris, how are you?
Yeah, no, heavy
Always
into
well.
World Cup fever time now, right? So yeah, really enjoying it. But yeah, obviously, kind of halfway through the pool stages, we got a kind of idea of what some teams may be like, where they're going, and which teams probably what they need to do to make a run for the playoffs. But yeah, it's been quite exciting. Not too many surprises. Obviously, Fiji, Wales, Australia was the kind of nice surprise game in a way, but I think a lot of people called could see that happening, and it did look like it was on the card. So interesting game. But I know you boys were around for a little chat on Tuesday when the book team was announced. So we had a few days to stew on that, and also, we've got the island team now. So I think we could probably delve a bit deeper. I think Rudy, I know you went on that call on Tuesday, so we'll start with you. Let's get your opinion on the 7-1 there, my man. What do you think of the Springboks team? What do you think of that? Did you see that come in from Rassie and Jacques? And what do you make of the Island team and in the match in general coming up on Saturday?
So for me, I don't want to say I saw it coming. In other words, take the credit for it, but there was sort of a lingering thought in the back of my mind based on the All Black game and our ability to bring on a fresh new set of forwards, barring Peter Steff in that game. Jacques obviously spoke in the week when I was listening to one of his interviews, saying that the All Black game wasn't necessarily the platform that they were going to use against Ireland, because Ireland are a different team. However, they do back the system of the 7-1 in each player's role. There's obviously a lot of versatility, so there's a lot of faith and confidence in the management team with this split. And I think just in general, looking at the Ireland team, I see they've gone with a 5-3 split, so they've made it clear that they're not going to compete at all with South Africa. They're just going to have to stick to what they do. So for us, I think it's just going to be a power game. I don't see the ball going past 12, but yeah, we'll chat more about that. I just think South Africa's made a clear statement. We won up on them. I say the more haters speak about us, the more good we're doing in the sense of our innovation. For many years of rugby, I think South Africa was following the trend, and now we're setting the trend. So that's actually quite exciting.
Yeah, and your predictions for the game? How do you see it playing out?
So based on the Ireland team running through it with the 5-3 split, I just think if South Africa are somewhat ahead, let's say come 55, 60 minutes in, and we bring on those replacements, I don't see Ireland getting back in the game. So it's going to be critical that the starters, as they would call them, lay that platform. So we don't want Ireland to be ahead at any stage. But if we are, should we be ahead, my prediction is that we'll close the game off with what we have on the bench.
Yeah, it's going to be another interesting case scenario of the bomb squad versus who's on the field for Ireland, right? Yeah, Wes. So interestingly enough, the bookies have the books between 1 and 3 points favorites. So we got Ireland, the number one team in the world, haven't lost many in the last 2 years, beaten us last time out with only played them once in the last 5 years. Are Springboks the favorites, or what's your feeling? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just on a knife edge. I think if you look at form, I think the teams are probably quite evenly matched. I think obviously Ireland haven't lost a game, I think, in 15 games. So it's their longest winning record, I believe. But the Boks building nicely, not having the undefeated record that the Irish do. But I know I'm just waffling because I really don't have an answer in terms of are the Boks the favorites. I do. Me personally, I think no. I think you have, if you're looking at form and history, if that's what we're basing favorites on, then I think you have to say Ireland are the favorites just by virtue of the fact that they haven't lost a game in 15 games and they are pretty much full strength, more or less, right? Like if you think about starting selections, we've obviously lost Malcolm Marx, which is a massive blow to the Boks, and there's a few players, who aren't there, but yeah, I don't think Ireland will win, and that's probably my South African bias coming through, though. I do think the Boks will pip them, but I do think in general they should be the favourites going into it, given the form and the players on the field.
Chris, just to add on to that quickly, I think Ireland, in my opinion, as they say, they know how to win games. South Africa know how to win World Cup games.
That yeah, Roots. I saw you took again. You've read my mind there, my man. I saw comments exactly that somewhere in one of the preview videos. You know, Ireland
Great
at the moment. That's it, man. That's it. Yeah, that exactly that. You know, for Ireland at the moment are kind of like the perfect system process team that, you know, justify their number one, and then you've got us that are we are World Cup specialists, and we seeming to be peaking. Because I mean, I say I agree with I wasn't so optimistic and, you know, upbeat about the boxes. I know a lot of other people were, but it does look like we're timing and making a nice timed run here, and the team is looking good. However, saying that, like I said, whereas I would have had Ireland 1 to 3 favorites. I still think this is our test. This for me will show us exactly where the books are, and I still think Ireland are far more polished team. And if we don't get a few things our way with this team, and with this we're taking a risk, we could see ourselves in a little bit of trouble. But if it goes according to plan, we could easily run out 5-7 point winner. Scotty, how do you see this going? What's your thoughts on this team? I know you probably discussed it Tuesday, but now that you've seen Ireland line up, where's your head at?
Yeah, I think most of Tuesday's discussion was we got thrown off a little bit by what happens if our 13 is injured, and we decided that was that we'd just chuck one of the forwards. I think it was Kwacha would just go there and we'll figure it out. But no, I think it's as Wes said, it's on a nice edge. I think it's South Africa's to lose in the first half. I think we struggle. As soon as we go behind, we don't have that points advantage. At least by, if we're more than 7 out at half time, I think we're going to struggle. But if we're within that striking distance of 5 points and under by the time the bomb squad come on, I think it's then ours to lose. So game of halves. I really like, to be honest, that Ireland have gone with the 5-3 split. I think it would have been quite funny had they gone a 6-2 split, just because
it would have given a lot away.
Around world rugby in general. Even the 6-2 split was getting the hate that the 7-1 split is getting at the last World Cup, right? So it's like, you doubt. It's like, and then if you can't beat them, join them, right? So fair play to them. They've jumped on board, and they're sticking to their guns, and that's how they've got to world number one. So, fair play.
Yeah, that's exactly that. If they had gone a 6-2, probably everyone would have been okay, fair enough. But I mean, obviously a 7-1 would have been a complete, we worried. Yeah, we need to go match for match. But they are, like you said, sticking to their guns. And I think if they stick to their guns and have a good game, they're still going to be really, really tough to beat, right? I just don't know. I thought Jocks and Rassie were bluffing on the 7-1. I didn't call it, didn't see it actually happening at the biggest game of the year so far, right? Are you do you guys have any thoughts? I mean, because sure, we got these jack of all trades, but would you not want a Moody at 13 as opposed to Reinach in there in the last 20 minutes if Jesse goes down and Willems has to play 10? Or, I mean, how confident that you think this is actually going to work here? Do you think this is going to you guys think this is going to work for the books or backfire? You can have a shot, any of you, if you have a view.
I think for the sake of Ireland and their selection on the bench, they've obviously gone the smart route for them and their squad, and given themselves the best position to win. Because, as we've mentioned and as people have spoken about it, if they're going to try and match South Africa with even a 6-2, I don't think they've earned the right to put a 6-2 bench on the field, let alone a 7-1. So they've been smart in their selections, I guess, for the sake of them. And they are the most technically sound team behind the French, I would say, in this tournament. But then you kind of look at Rassie and Jacques, and you find them to be just that tad smarter. So who's going to be the smarter one on the night? I'm backing Rassie and the boys, because South Africa are playing to their strengths, and we are not hiding it in the least.
Yeah, we'll leave this for the end of the show because I think we need to bring out the whole moral aspect of this 7-1. We'll do that later. I'm happy to throw my name down the gutter again. Done it already. But we'll discuss it at the end of the week. But it is an interesting conversation because it obviously extends to the rules and what Matt Williams was saying about the younger guys who will potentially want to copy this. But we'll discuss that later down the line. And interesting you say game of 2 halves, guys. We'll get to when we get to my betting segment. I've called the exact same thing. I think Ireland are not changing anything, but we're getting one hell of an Ireland blitz in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I'm liking the bet that Ireland are ahead at halftime because I think they know that's the best way they're going to beat us. And I think they're going to go hammer. They're going to take it out of the New Zealand playbook in Albany, and they're going to go for it. So we'll discuss that later. So think how that
I think,
we'll see how that goes.
Chris, if I can jump in there, like if you look at the Scotland game, right? I mean, Scotland came out firing in the first 20, 25, 30 minutes in the first half, right? And really noticeably in that first 20 minutes. And they kept us, was it 6-3 at the half or 3-0 or whatever it was?
Yes,
it was
6-3, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so a 3-point difference there in the first half, and they were able to contain, the Springboks. And then obviously it opened it up and Marnie LeBock's lovely cross kick. So, and that's Scotland, who I think we can, objectively say aren't as good as an Irish team. So, an Irish blitz, and no disrespect to Scotland, they were 5th in the world at the time. I'm just saying compared to Ireland. So I think, looking at an Irish blitz for 20 minutes, that's a different kind of blitz. So we'll have to see. But just having a look at a quick chat here, PVN saying 7-1 split decoy for another trick up their sleeve. Everyone can focus on that, but they don't know what next surprise will be. So that could be another ploy as well, right? They revealed one hand, with the 7-1 split against the All Blacks, and now all of a sudden it could be something different.
Well, we can't actually write that off, I think. No, honestly,
you can't.
Not against the All Blacks. Billy pulled out and was replaced during the warm up. I mean, I don't know what the rules are around, checking that the person you pulled out during the warm up or on the match day is in fact injured. Like who's there to validate that?
Yeah.
I hear you, Scholesy, but I think I'm confident to say Rassie and them have studied those rules. They've got medals for those rules.
No, they know.
but it's so true because a lot of players are going down in warm-ups. So Italian Cup 3, I've noticed 3 gone down in warm-ups lately, more than usual. So I think the mind games are very, very at play here because, team selection is important. I mean, everyone's just like, wow, we get it, okay? Springboks bring the team out early because they say they don't like it to be leaked because eventually it does. But, things change. And I mean, obviously it does feel like it gives the other team an advantage to really study and really try to understand what's going on. But how often does it change? So, yeah, I do like the justification that if all these guys know at Monday what they got 7 days, they don't have to be like, am I playing until Thursday because they're trying to hide it. I think that has actually really, I think it did that and it seemed like it's worked, right? Because the guys, even the players have said they love the fact that they know on Monday, the public know they can just get to work, So, yeah, going to be an interesting game. And like, in a great way, at least it's not fatal, right? At least it's not the end of the road. It'll be lovely. It'll be lovely if we do beat them and get the Scots put a hell of a lot of pressure on them, and then we can see them possibly later in the final, But anyway, we'll move on to the other games for the weekends. I know I don't know if you guys touched on. We obviously got France, Namibia tonight. France picking a decent side there. I think poor Namibia, New Zealand straight into France. I think that's going to be a bit of a long. I think France have to prove, this is typical France. Beat New Zealand, struggle Uruguay, massive win. I see a massive win for Namibia. Do you guys feel the same way?
What's the spread on the Namibia-France game, Chris?
It's like 76, high 70s, I believe. Very high.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night, I think, for the Namibians. I mean, I think France saw what they left out on the field against Uruguay, not getting
Sorry, I apologize. It's 69. I thought it was higher than that, but the All Blacks were 72. That's quite interesting. You would think All Blacks had more changes, but France looked like they're about 70% strong, right? 80% full strength, I would say. Dupont's playing.
Yeah,
Janabed, wings, yeah,
he's back. It's
yeah,
huge. Yeah. No, I think they saw a huge missed opportunity on the bonus point against Uruguay. I mean, you really don't want to be leaving those out there and leaving up. I mean, I guess the side of the draw dictates South Africa or Ireland for them, so it's not massive, but you still want to end up your group at first. You know, you don't want to be overtaken because of a bonus point system that's working against you. So, yeah,
yeah.
long night tournament be ahead for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we all agree with that. I think we could go. Anyone got anything to add onto that game as we can move on to quite an interesting group, the Samoa, and Samoa and
Argentina.
yeah, Argentina. Sorry, thank you very much. Yeah, Argentina. That's going to also be another cracking game.
Yeah, I mean, I think there, Chris, I'm really looking forward to see what the Argentines can do, right? I mean, I think we were all quite disappointed, and not just only because they had an opportunity to rain on England's parade, but it was just more the case of there's some sort of kinship with the Argentines being in the Championship Rugby, right? Being in the Southern Hemisphere, and I think we were wanting them to do well for a number of reasons. So I do think, I hope that they've had a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror, and they've been working hard on the training ground, and they come out and attempt to make a statement. Now, Samoa is not going to take that lying down, right? Interestingly, actually, Samoa's got the best record against Argentina of any Pacific Island nation. So they've got history on their side, but this is a different Argentine side since they last played. So no, it's going to be a good match to watch.
Yeah. Roots, how do you, I mean, the cap year is 13 points, and I know Samoa have they only played 11 tests, I believe, since the last World Cup, and you could see that against Chile, right? That first off was typical Samoa. I was chatting with my friends watching, and we got everything that Samoa had offered in that game. Not head not in it, mistakes, physicality, yellow cards. We got everything. Some brilliant tries. So, Rudes, how do you see after the back of Argentina's probably let's face it, probably one of the worst performances since like the 90s. I can remember that was Argentina of old. They hadn't been that not solid, or at least putting up a fight. How do you see this one going? Because I think it's far more closer than 13 points, because I think for me, Argentina will struggle if Samoa have had their run out. I feel they've got their green one under the belt, and I think they're going to give RGs a run. What do you think, Rudes?
Yeah, Chris, I hear you on the spread there in terms of history, suggesting Argentina will take this one comfortably. If you say 13 points, I think what's interesting about the Tier 2 nations, from what I'm seeing, is like they're able to put together maybe 50, 60 minutes of good rugby. And then from then onwards, I think the teams that are playing more often, as you mentioned, are able to put the full 80 minutes together. So that's becoming evident. So I just hope that Samoa catch Argentina at a time where they actually lost to a very average England team, if we can be honest. All those drop goals, something out of the ordinary, if you could say. But yeah, England never really offered much on attack. In other words, so for Argentina, they could use that as motivation. They are a very passionate side in terms of using their emotion to gain ascendancy in the game. But I think, if anything, Samoa do have an opportunity in this game, but they're going to have to put together more than 50 minutes. So coming out the blocks firing won't be enough. But there is a bigger possibility from what we've seen in the World Cup so far. Tighter games than we've ever witnessed. So for these Tier 2 nations, I think it's quite exciting. So yeah, there is an opportunity. So I think 13 is flattering Argentina a bit. But the Argentina we know in Super Rugby should be the Argentina that puts Samoa away comfortably. But we're at the point now where it's actually quite interesting, yeah?
Yeah, I agree. Scotty, I don't know if you've seen some team news. I see Sopoanga's out, Danny Tuala's on the bench, Jordan Tafu's on the bench. Obviously, no Lavanini for Argentina. Creamer and Matera were really trying. The only ones seemingly cared the other day. On the back of some big names out there, are you seeing an Argentina come back and winning comfortably, or at least winning, I suppose?
Yeah, I think that it's got to be right for them. It'll be a very, very sad day for, I think, for Argentina rugby, seeing the progress they've made, especially starting off the season, beating Australia. In Australia, that was massive, and they instantly kind of became a top 6 contender in everyone's heads after that. Maybe it was because Australia are, a bit average, but it was still a statement win. And I think that when we saw how much England struggled, and then the red card, and they just did not show up on the day. I would love to see that game replayed out 15-15, whether that had any effect on how they went about the business. If they, in their heads, they would say, okay, well, now it's signed, sealed, and delivered. But yeah, I think unless Samoa, really put out all the stuff, missing SUPERBRU is massive. But I see Argentina, pushing through here, because I think they'll be kicking themselves if they're not getting out of this group.
Yeah, and a quick one. Do you guys think the winner of this match is
the English? For 60 minutes, until it was a bit of a fallout when Joe Marler started exposing new rules in the rugby book and United. I reckon Rusty's a little bit bummed that Joe Marler's found out that rule before he did. I reckon he was holding it back till the final. There was a move planned out. Jesse Currie threw it over.
Yeah.
I think Japan is still in it, definitely.
Well, we mentioned 4 teams. Roots, Chile. We had Chile to beat England, didn't we? What's going on? Let's move on to England versus Chile on the England side. Are we still reckon Chile have a chance, or are England rebuilding their reputation? Yeah, we're going to have to call that biggest upset in World Cup history off the table now.
Chris, I would love to see some sort of upset like that. I just think it's exciting, as we've mentioned before, just for Chile being at the Rugby World Cup. Each and every player, I know there hasn't been a lot of emphasis from the media perhaps on the smaller nations, but when they do get the opportunity to be in the limelight, you can see what it means to them, their families, etc. So I think taking away from the game for Chile, I think just being part of the experience. I know England is a much more average side than we've experienced before in World Cups, but it should obviously be a clear win for England, and that puts them in a good place to obviously end first. But for Chile, just being part of the World Cup, who knows when they would be able to qualify again. So this is some sort of once in a lifetime, yeah?
Yeah, it was an amazing fairy tale story how they got there, hey, in the qualifications.
Yeah, I think it was that last game against USA in the 80th minute, and there was a scrum, there was drama, there was everything. So
yeah,
what a story.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's kind of, you think USA will be a power, so maybe they still will be running into their World Cup, but does feel a bit weird that it's Chile over. This could be USA in this group, but this could have been one hell of, well, kind of the older USAs of the teams of old. This could have been one hell of a pool of death with the current state of these teams. I don't know. Do you have comments on the team that's been picked, Roots, before we move on to Wes? And they've obviously made changes. Farrell's back from his ban. I quite like Arundel, Marcus Smith all starting. That's more firepower out there. Do you have comments like that, or do you think this is just this is the time to ring the changes, get these guys a go? Do you have any comments on the team?
I think it's always probably been, in my opinion, an opportunity for the coach now to get Owen Farrell back into the team. This is not a game where England have to be too concerned, but I think they want to, with all due respect to Chile, go through their functions as a team and set themselves up to also try and be a little bit more attacking. I know when we get to, should they qualify first or second and go through to the knockouts, it's not all about tries. But I think for them, the ability to practice that and get that right would be important, because they also need to have that in their arsenal. But for England, I wouldn't say an easy day at the office, but definitely
Rugby on Forever Sports. My name is Wes, and today I'll be doing the watch along for the clash between Argentina and Chile. So it's great to have you here having a look. I've got the chat open, guys. So in that chat, start sounding off where you're watching from. It's fantastic to have you here, no matter where you're watching from. If you haven't seen me before or heard from me before, as I said, my name's Wes, and I'm calling in from the Okavango Delta in Botswana. So it's been a nice hot day here, reaching about 37, 38 degrees around lunchtime. So yeah, I can't say much work was done with those temperatures, but it is starting to cool off a bit. I think it's just hit 34 degrees. So very hot from Botswana, but lovely to be here with you guys. So in the chat, let me know where you are streaming in from. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit a like and subscribe to the channel. As so many of you have. I mean, we've just been absolutely blown away by how many of you have supported the channel, and in many various ways, liking, subscribing, and if possible, becoming a channel member, guys. So really, really appreciate that. Let's have a look. Already got some conversation. We've got this Skunda, South Africa, from Carl Smith. Carl, great to have you here. Carl's already chiming in saying, I'm convinced Samoa will be the upset and go through to quarterfinals. So potentially we'll have to see, right? This is a big game for them to stake. If they want to make that play, as Carl suggests, I think they've got to win this game. But the Argentines will be looking to rain on that parade, undoubtedly looking for a much better performance from the last time. I think I feel some sort of kinship for the Argentinians when they come into Championship Rugby, and seeing them sort of grow and elevate and become a better rugby side. It does feel in part like, the little brother who's now starting to do well. And I think I was just incredibly disappointed to see that performance they put out against England. Roberto Wilco, how's it, Roberto? Excellent to have you here from Melbourne, Australia. So all the way across the pond, very, very far away. How's it, Roberto? Excellent to have you here. But I think, enough of me rambling on too much about that. Looking at this Argentinian side, they definitely should be able to do the job. In the preview, we looked at some of the stats, we looked at their past plays, we looked at some of the notable players as well. And they definitely should be able to, well, I say they should, it's a big word. The Argentine side who beat Australia in Australia, and then who took the All Blacks, not close, but mounted some sort of a comeback in the Rugby Championship, and the Argentine side that took South Africa to task in Joburg, that's the team that should be able to put away this Samoan side. Now, whether that team shows up today is a completely different story. So we'll have to see who shows up. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut away to some player profiles now. So here are the Argentinians taking the field today. Just going to then carry on.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So that is the squad taking the field today, who is going to stake their claim and try get their Rugby World Cup campaign off to a better direction. They didn't get off to the best start, did the Argentinians, which was, as I said, disappointing. So potentially in the chat there, guys, let me know, why do you think that was? What happened? I just, we haven't seen that Argentinian side play like that for a number of years. And I think, all of us, Forever Sports were quite, not shocked is a strong word, but at least, perplexed potentially by that performance. So they'll definitely be looking to come out and, do things just a bit differently. But this, as I said, this is a strong side. And we, with the players like Carreras at 10, Bertrand at 9, such a good commander of the field. You've got your strong forwards in Gallo and Bello, Montoya. Sort of the captain has to lead from the front. He's got to get the troops going the way they want to. Matera, Crema. I mean, it's in its experienced squad. You've got Bofelli on the wing, Carreras on the other wing, Cocobaris in the centres. These are solid names who can do a job when they want to. And so let's just see if they want it bad enough today. But yeah, looking forward to your thoughts in the chat. Why do you think potentially Argentina just didn't show up? I don't think England were particularly dominating. George Ford had a very good day with the boot, which was excellent, and everyone spoke about his drop kicking, and nothing away from George Ford. But in terms of England's defence, in terms of their attack, I don't think there were anything special against the Argentinians. But just a huge thank you, guys, to Fualole Tupu for becoming a Forever Sports member. Really, really appreciate that. By supporting the channel in that way, I think it's 19 Rand 99 a month. It allows us to bring you coverage of all these games across the World Cup. We are bringing you sort of a watch-along coverage of every single game of the World Cup. It's YouTube's biggest rugby World Cup campaign, and we're absolutely stoked to be able to bring it to you. Let's have a look. So Cal getting involved. How's it, Cal? Good to have you here. Cal saying, had Sopawanga been starting, I would actually back Samoa. He isn't even in the squad, so I'm backing Argentina now. Yeah, so we'll get onto the Samoan side in just a bit, but Cal already sort of siding with the RGs just because of how much weight Sopawanga can bring to a team as his influence in the game. So no, we'll definitely have to look and see if the Samoans can counter for that. They still are quite a stacked side, and with the likes of Christian Lealiafano at 10 there, the maestro conducting. We would expect to see good things from them. But before we do that, as I'm sure you guys know, but definitely a big thank you and a shout out to our channel partners. One of those being BitDefender. So Forever Sports has partnered with BitDefender. It's a global leader in cybersecurity. BitDefender is committed to defending people all around the globe against cyber attacks to transform and improve their digital experience. So a massive thank you to BitDefender. So if you are interested in protecting yourself online, and that's just one of the services that they do provide, definitely go check out the channel in the channel description, the video description. There'll be tons of links there for you to have a look. Carl Smith, excellent, Carl, love your work here. So let's have a look. If Argentina play with the backs, they will win, but if Samoa keep the ball and use their massive forwards, they will win. Yeah, so I mean, Samoa definitely going to be looking to leverage their sides, right? You've got to play to your strengths. I think the Samoan backs are, I would say, almost as big as their forwards, which is a scary prospect. But no, absolutely. I think, the Argentines will have to play smart rugby. And this is where I hope the skills have come from Championship rugby. By playing against, your developed rugby nation sides, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, it exposes you to that level of rugby, and it forces you as a team and a coaching staff and a rugby culture to get smart. You have to look and adapt and identify and exploit. And so hopefully the Argentinians have been studying the Samoans, from last week, and they'll look to see where can we exploit and navigate and take points from. So yeah, really, really interesting to see what they can do. But let's talk about the Samoan side. So unfortunately, one of our team packages is giving us a bit of issue. So we're just going to go through them here together. So at 1, we've got Lay. At 2 is Lam. At 3 is Alo Emila. At 4 is Aliano Use. At 5 is Vui. At 6, and as Carl has just said, Theo McFarlane's at 6, and he needs to have an absolutely big week. He was very, very good last weekend, so he'll be looking to put in good back-to-back performances. At 8 is Luatua. At 7 is Lee. Number 9, then heading into your backlines, is Tau Mateina. At 10 is Lealiafano. Again, the sort of real conductor of the squad, and has to also, he'll be looking, where can he send his big men? Where can he send his speedsters? Looking into your first wing then is Lam. At 12 into your centers, Manu. At 13 is Suoteni. At 14, Wong. And then rounding up the starting 15 on the field is Paia Ua. Looking then at your substitutes on the bench, then 16 is Malolo, 17 is Faumina. So we're looking for Charlie Faumina to have an absolutely big game, and likewise from Michael Alalatoa. 19 is Sue, 20 Jordan Taufua, 21 is Matavao, at 22 is Leola, and 23 Tuola. So let's see what the Samoans can do. I think they can't put all their hopes on just one or two players. They've got to really come together as a team. Both these teams chasing their first wins at Rugby World Cup, so the hunger is definitely there. We see the Argentinian players starting to come out into the tunnel, and Cremo with a big grin on his big face. And we see the Samoans now taking their spot next to the Argentines. So Argentinians in their classic sort of sky blue and white stripes, and the Samoans in their real dark sort of navyish blue as well, classic kits, which is always agreed. How's it, Stefan? Excellent to have you here. When does this match start? The match starts in 7 minutes is kickoff. So excellent to have you with us, Steph. Great to have you here. Yes, so Ben Lamb is playing Kel, so Kel might be changing his betting. If he's betting with BOYLESPORTS, another one of our channel partners. So if you think you know what's going to happen, guys, why don't go place a bit of money? If you're not sure what's going to happen, I'll tell you a great resource. It's Chris Rowe's betting tips. Go have a look at what Chris has said for the weekend, and he will be able to guide you in the right direction. And he's made himself and the channel, or these channel members, some of the people who've gone along with him, quite a bit of money, which has been fantastic. So go check out Chris's tips, and then also go have a look at BOYLESPORTS. Let's see. I also wanted to say you can start voting in the poll. There should be a poll there saying who do you think is going to win, Samoa or Argentina, or do you think it's going to be a draw? So always nice to see what you guys think, and then we can start getting in some score predictions potentially. Or margin differences. Who do you think is going to take it? We've already had Kel sort of going back and forth. The team lineup has changed his mind there. So what do you guys think? Are Samoa going to be able to sort of pounce on a defeated Argentine side, or do the Argentinians have their back against the wall and they feel like now they're going to come out with a big performance? We kind of saw that last night with France, Namibia. Yeah, so this was a tough 2 weeks for the Namibians. But France, clearly not good enough or up to their standards against Uruguay, and decided to come out and make a statement. And they really did make a statement. So will the Argentines look to do the same thing? Ben Lamb was absolutely a machine when he played for the Hurricanes. So an absolute unit, can get around the field, engine like none other. So let's see what he can bring to the side. So we are lining up for the anthems now. So kickoff in just about 5 minutes. And while we do that, just some more thoughts on last night's game. I think, the French clearly showed up, and I think you could have a very good day in fantasy if you had chosen the right players. I think if you had both French wings, you were going to do very, very nicely. And then obviously Dupont, and we obviously wish him well, because quite scary news that potentially he is going to be out for some time. So if you want to know the latest news about Anton Dupont's fate in this World Cup, go check out the Forever Sports video. Stevie did an update video on Anton, and how he's going to do, and is he going to be back? So we're trying times, and I think all the French supporters have got their hearts in their mouths. Is their talisman. People sort of equating it to a Malcolm Marx, but I think it's a false equivalency. I think he is their talisman. He's their Sia Khaleesi basically to South African side. Like, he brings something different, not only in that spirit and fierce and feel of the game, but rather in just also in the skills that he has, that he can possess. And we've seen all the past players and pundits really singing his praises. So it'd be a massive loss for France, but we wish him a speedy recovery and hopefully to find him, have him back. And back on the field. But onto this game now, just about 2 or 3 minutes before we get to kick off. So the Argentine anthem done and dusted. Over to the Samoans as they get ready to take the field. Yeah, but thank you guys once again. If you haven't already, make sure hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're able to, and look at becoming a channel member as well. It just really helps us. Yeah, really helps us out. Be able to bring you all this, and Forever Sports doesn't just do rugby. We do all types of sports. So we've got F1 coverage. The boys were up into the early hours this morning doing the F1 in the F1 stream. We've got Forever Football as well, and so the more support we get, we're able to sort of bring you more good content and coverage. If you're not able to do that, though, definitely hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. So really, really appreciate that. And I can see actually how many of you are watching. There's about 40 odd of us. So thank you so much for being here. And I can see how many likes the video's got as well. It's got 8 likes. So the rest of you, do better, please. Thank you very much. Right, excellent. So coming to the end of the Samoan anthem, and then we are in it for kickoff. So yet to see. Okay, Carl Smith. Carl, you know, mate, Carl can stay, guys. Carl's given us a Samoa by 6, so we've got a points differential there. So I'd like to see some more predictions in the chat. What do we think? So far, we've got Samoa by 6 from Carl. Going to be a tight one potentially. I think, yeah, if the Samoans can keep their discipline, because that's something we know historically has been difficult for them, and you know, they struggled in the first game as well with that discipline. Can they look to get that under control? And can they look to put together a solid performance, not just for 50 minutes, not just for 60 minutes? We know the Argentinians are able of putting together an 80-minute performance. We know that actually they seem to be stronger in the second half. So Samoa is really going to have to work hard to take it to them for the entire game. Got Rudy in the chat. Thanks, Rudy. Really appreciate you having here. Samoa might sneak it. Oh, that's a might, Rudes. I'm going to need more of a definitive comment from you there, Rudy. What do you think? Points differential. Let's go. I've got Carl. Samoa saying Samoa by 6. What do you think, Rudy? Carl, you've gone very quiet. What do we think? Carl also saying Malcolm is a bigger loss to us than Dupont is to France. Interesting. Malcolm with his penalties that he creates and 9 points to SA team even before they start. Yeah, no, absolutely, potentially. I don't know. Yes, Marks is around the field, and you know, and arguably probably was the best hooker in the competition. But I think more is just that talismanic essence as well. You know, imagine sort of, you know, Sia Khaleesi, Geerson vibe around a Malcolm Marks impact on the field. That I feel like is a Dupont sort of loss for France. You know, but that's just my opinion. So he's not out yet. We're sort of talking like he's gone. And we hope he makes a speedy recovery and he is back on the field. It's tough, you know, because as a team that could potentially play France, you think, oh, we don't want them at full strength. But in the spirit of actually wanting to see a fantastic World Cup, it is, you want the best players. You want to see the best players out there. It only comes around once every 4 years. So, all right, it looks to be absolutely hammering down with some rain. So this is going to be interesting, right? Because now we might see things get a bit scrappy. Potentially the Samoans might favor these conditions, using the big boys, not going out wide as much, but just picking and going around the corners, short passes, trying to keep it tight. So we will have to see how the conditions play into this. Massive factor, actually, you know, a lot for the Southern Hemisphere sides, or those sides, you know, traditionally not playing in as much rain, how they adapt and overcome. So we are done with the formalities, and we will be kicking off in the next 2 minutes. There we go, Rudy. Excellent. Love your work. Okay, Samoa by 3. Argentina discipline might play a factor, especially when Samoa get really physical. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. We spoke about, you know, the Samoan discipline, but the Argentines weren't much better last week, and we know that they have the tendency. They've been better of late, but they can definitely lose their heads and then just give away silly penalties, which is just going to allow the Samoans to walk them down the field. So we will see. But yeah, an absolutely action-packed weekend here of rugby. So make sure you do check out all the other streams happening. So I'll be back with you guys tomorrow for England and Chile, which is going to undoubtedly be a good game. I think the Chileans, you know, despite having lost both games by around 30 points, they've shown really glimpses of great rugby and they've taken the sides to task. And I think England will be looking to hopefully find a game where they can actually, I don't know, look threatening. As I said, I don't think they look threatening against Argentina, and I don't think they would look that threatening in their last game. So we will have to see what they can bring about, you know, against Japan. I think, you know, fortunate header through by Joe Marler got them into a good position. Okay, kick off soon. Let's have a look. Carl, the only player you ever got hurt was Lomu. Yeah, my goodness, I'm sure. I think everyone's grateful. But you know, but that's the thing, right? Is had he got injured, we wouldn't have seen him in all his glory, throughout the ages and his games there. So that's what we want to see. We want to be able to look back in 10 years' time and go, like, look at this player, look how awesome he was. We got to see him, in the prime of his career. But yeah, definitely in the spirit of the game. Okay, so the Samoans will be kicking off. We've probably just a couple seconds here. So we've got Nick Berry, the Australian, refereeing this match for us. The Samoans are playing from left to right. The rain does seem to be quite heavy. And here we go, kicking down field, straight down the center. It is the Argentine fullback, Cruz Malila, catching. Bertrand feeds it to the big men, staying within the 22. Now he gives it back to Carreras, who exits well, but doesn't find touch. Rather, Christian Liliafano, who sends a big bomb upfield. Paiua gives chase. That looked like the Argentinian player going over his own player. However, he still is awarded a penalty. So he went up in the air. It did look like he was made contact in the air, but that didn't look that clear to me. So it does go up. Okay, yes. So what happened there? The Argentinian 10 Carreras going up for the ball, and the Samoan fullback, Paia Aua, just kind of got in the position, in the way, and he sort of careered over him with his momentum. So Nick Berry is going to the TMO, potentially for foul play. So we could see a very early yellow card here, just as we were speaking about Samoa's discipline. Just how to get it so wrong so early. So he is tracking the ball, but then has enough time and slowly just gets in the wrong position. First of all, pushes the Argentine player almost back into his own player, and then just in the wrong position. So it'd be very interesting to see what the refs are going to do here. In my opinion, it doesn't look that cynical, but it is potentially dangerous. The Argentine player doesn't land dangerously, but I think the Samoans will definitely, wait with bated breath. Conversation now between Nick Berry and captain number 5, Vui. And it is a yellow card, right? 35 seconds in. There are apologies from both, or not both sides, but from the Samoan fullback. But that is, what I think might be the fastest yellow card of this World Cup so far. 35 seconds in, Samoan fullback number 15, Paia Ua, is out for the next 10 minutes. So here we go. Here's that. I was saying, well, never mind. You never know. It might have the England effect, right? Which is a new term I'm coining, where they seem to play better with a man off the field. So let's see what Samoa can do if they can hold the defense here. But we are now down on the right-hand side at an Argentine lineup. They go to the middle to find number 4, Matera tries to take it around the corner, but slips. So here come those slippery conditions. Then big Martin Gonzalez takes it up, but is held up strongly in the tackle, manages to get the ball loose. So good job there, but not finding much way through here. Bertrand. So they are picking and going. The Argentinians wanting to play with a bit of speed here, but the Samoan defense holding strong. Bertrand then back out to the right. Carreras out into the back line, looking for some space. Excellent tackle by the Samoan number 9, though. Carreras then takes it into contact. Comes to the left. Bertrand out to Kremer. Kremer takes it up solidly. Bertrand out to the left again. Finds Matera. Positive runs here. Bertrand takes it to the line flat. Kremer comes around again. Bertrand to big number 3, Bello. Argentines are making meters. Carreras now. Carreras takes dummies, goes half gap. Shut down very quickly. Excellent steal, though, from the Samoan number 9, Tua Martina. Excellent work from the halfback there. Just getting isolated, the Argentines. So now Samoa will look to exit well here from their 22. A very underrated skill, I reckon. Can you exit successfully from this red zone? Something that isn't praised a lot. It's not spoken about a lot. We don't look at the highlights of 22 exits. However, it is a vital skill. So Liliafano does exits and doesn't able to find much territory as we're still in the Argentine 22. But a nice little show and go there from Carreras, finding a half gap, but then the Samoan 9 all over that. Tau Matien. Excellent work from him and that glorious bleached mullet. So it is a yellow card with a review. So Samoa, yellow card with a review. So we will wait to see if that is going to be upgraded. I don't think it will be. It didn't look that cynical just more stupid, really. Okay, Montoya then, just inside the Samoan 22, goes to the back of the line out. They set the driving maul, but it's a little trick play. Montoya then out to Birchenough, who then pops it back inside. So I believe it might have been Carreras. Birchenough again finding the big men. Birchenough then skips the big men out to 13. Lovely little pass over the top, but it was knocked forward, unfortunately. So a little show and go behind the line there. Tried to get the pass round over the top, but unfortunately the Argentines just couldn't hang on to it. Big thumping tackle. So yeah, nice little pass there from Moroni, but unfortunately a bit of a knock on. And then, I mean, if that isn't looked at, I feel like that should be looked at. So we'd see quite a late hit from one of the Samoan players. Number 14? Yeah, Awong on the Argentine player. No ball in hand, taking him out. So don't think we're going to look at it. But the Samoans, fair enough. You want to make positive tackles in your 22, but there's a thing as being overzealous potentially. However, Samoa doing well at the moment to keep Argentina out of or away from their try line with a man down. So first scrum of the game, 4.5 minutes in, on the right-hand side, still in the Samoan 22. Scrum goes down. Samoan number 9, Tau Matien, trying to convince Nick Berry, the referee, that it was at least a short arm, going and trying to take a tap, looking, saying, sir, is that, can I? A little bit of mind games there from the Samoan number 9. So, yeah, as we wait for this scrum to be reset, guys, as I said, a massive thank you to our channel sponsors, and one of those being Boyle Sports. So definitely, if you haven't already, get your bet in before the first score. Into the comments, let us know what you think it's going to be by. But if do you think you know what the result was going to be, then why don't you head over to Boyle Sports and create an account and place your bet? So not only can you win big on your prediction, but Boyle Sports will match your first deposit up to 1,000 rands. So if you put in 500, they put in 500. If you put in 1,000, they put in 1,000. So go and check out Boyle Sports in the description, and definitely use our link to join. So the scrum does go down, and it is indeed a short arm. So potentially Nine's mind games have worked, and I think it was Gallo who was penalised. Maybe early engagement. So it's just a short arm, but Christian Leofano says we don't want to be playing down here. Ball in our 22 in these conditions, so let's hoof it up the field. Evan H, how's it, Evan? Good to see you. Oh, a little tap and go there. Oh, but not. Oh, lots of words with the referee here. Sorry, guys, I got a bit carried away. Let me just check what's going on. Seems like they've not executed that short arm too well, so we'll come back for a scrum. I don't know if Leofano took that short arm correctly. So these are the small mistakes and the right decisions that a lot of the Pacific Island nations and a lot of the emerging rugby nations are struggling to make, except for Fiji, and that's partly why I believe Fiji's done so well, is because when it comes down to these small mistakes that aren't that critical, they do add up, and the Fijians have found a way through who knows how they found a way, but to make the right decision, the correct decision most of the time. So Samoa will look to tidy things up. So we do go to the scrum. It does hold steady. The Argentinian set, and Birchenough comes out to the left, releasing one of the Argentines. However, there is a knock on, so it is now collected by big number 7 Lee, who takes it into contact. So we're just outside the 5 meter here. Again, the Samoans will need to look to exit. So not a comfortable start for Samoa. 7 minutes in, not much possession, no territory, and a man down. So not able to find touch. So the Argentinian still in the Samoan half and looking to make a run, but runs straight into the Samoan defense. So here they come to the left. Nice little out the back play there from the Argentines. Carreras finds the speedster Carreras, so 10-11. Good work here. So there's an Argentine down. The play does go on. Forwards crashing it up strongly. So making good ground is Argentina. On the left-hand side, just outside the 15 meter, about 8 meters from the try line. Carreras with ball in hand. There is an overlap. There should be an overlap. It is a 2-on-1. There should be a try. Boffelli finds the line, brought down short, reaches, he's allowed to. The Argentinians have their first try. It had to come. There was definitely a man advantage. Not the cleanest try you'll ever see, but the Argentines won't care about that. The fans absolutely loving it. Michael Checker looks slightly bemused, but that's all we can ask from him. But Boffelli did well to finish there. Had quite a bit of work to do. Yeah, excellent work from the Argentines. I think there was a bit of good build-up to that try. So nice working from left to right, using your forwards, and then kind of a few plays out the back, drawing in defenders. Again, there had to be an overlap. Again, not the cleanest step here. Did sort of fumble, but down he goes, able to stretch. Yeah, solid try there from the Argentinians. So better by them. Again, Samoa will look obviously to tidy things up. Good work from Los Pumas. Carl in the chat here saying Fiji should join the Rugby Championship. That would be huge. Yeah, and potentially, there is, I think we spoke about it on the fan forum last night, and Chris had suggested some sort of a relegation system, where you do have lower teams potentially playing in a relegation, and maybe that could be like the Pacific Nations Cup. And if you win the Pacific Nations Cup, you then go and play in the Rugby Championship the next year. And then if you lose, then you go down and you play in the Pacific Nations Cup. I don't know, or do you need more sort of a long-term exposure? Potentially, would you just have the same side kind of bouncing up and down as opposed to, staying in? I think it's that prolonged exposure to the good sort of rugby, which potentially develops nations. Okay, so while I was rambling on there, Boffelli did slot the kick from the sideline. So it's a good kick by him. So it is 7 points to nothing at 10 minutes in. We do see Nick Berry having a chat with number 5 from some of the captain, Vui, who is just saying that card is not going to be upgraded to a red card. So it remains a yellow card. And so in about 20 seconds, the next break of play, you imagine the number 15, Samoan 15, will be coming back onto the field. So not the worst from Samoa, conceding only 1 try. They won't be happy with that, but they'll definitely have absorbed the pressure well. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting what Carl says, guys. What do you think? How would you do it if you want to develop, nations like your Pacific nations, your Pacific Island nations, as well as your Japan, who of late been in good form, although this year is not the greatest. What would you do? How would your competition structure? Would you have a relegation system, or do you think it's just going to be one team going up and down between the leagues? Maybe So what does that look like? Very interesting. I mean, it'd be very interesting to know where Argentina would fall currently. Okay, so we are going to have a Samoan line out. The rain is coming down quite heavily. Nick Berry having to do a lot of work. Amazing how these professional rugby players don't quite know what 2 meters is in or half a meter really, and 2 meters in a line out here, just to leave the space. Refs always asking for space. So we are inside the Argentine half. Samoans go to the middle. They find Captain Vui. They set the rolling more. Line out deemed to be over, says Nick Berry. Right, number 2 picks and goes round the side himself. That is Lamb. Here come the Samoan forwards crashing it up the field. So this is what they can do well. So they'll be looking to come away with points, at least. Turning the pressure into points, making their way in field now. Careful not to be isolated. Argentines have some excellent jacklers in that defensive line. So careful who you run at. Picking and going around the corner, not making much ground, but retaining ball well. Nice little pop pass there, but you need to have someone with him. So there we go. And it absolutely was Stone. I believe it was Matera. So nice little pop pass, but the runner was isolated. Argentina looking to run it from their own half. A pass going a bit awry there. And Carreras, the wing, having to do great work to get them out of that position. He was in a tough spot. Fly half Carreras decides to hoof that ball downfield, but he doesn't find touch. So it is the Samoan fullback now back on the field, trying to make up for his yellow card. Leilofano looks to give it out to Manu, runs it back towards the chaos on the right-hand side. So still in the Argentine half. Tau Martin now with the ball, looking to go to the left, finds big number 4, Alan Uese. Nice strong run from Leilofano up the center. comes back to the right-hand side. Once again, number 4. Nice little pass back out the back there to Manu, not able to get the ball away. Argentine defense. Again, stolen well. Montoya now with a turnover. Kremer there initiating that. A little bit scrappy here, what we were afraid might happen. So discipline does need to be better from both sides. The conditions aren't that favorable. Knock on here by Argentina. So Samoa with ball in the loose. Massive tackle on Liliafano though by Boffelli. But Boffelli, after making that tackle, loses his footing and goes straight to ground. So off his feet. But solid tackle on Liliafano here. But the ball is starting to become very slippery though. Players still running with ball in one hand. Coaches will not be happy about that. Oh, massive hit. And then, yeah, unfortunately, Boffelli just going to ground. His sort of support players from behind him actually looked like they pushed him over. Great hit from Emilio Boffelli there. Excellent work. Unfortunately, just going off his feet. So it is a penalty, and Christian Liliafano has pointed, or rather Captain Boo has pointed to the post, so they will look to take a shot at goal. I think definitely the smart decision. I think definitely given the conditions that we see right now, the rain coming down, the Samoans will want to get points on the board, just keep that scoreboard pressure ticking. Something we've heard a lot in this World Cup, teams going for the post and making sure they just slowly start putting on the pressure. And unfortunately, hooks it, pulls it left, and he'll be very disappointed with that. That was definitely more than kickable, so not great for Christian Liliafano. He's, you can see, not happy with himself there. Alan Robinson in the chat. Alan, how are you doing? Hope you had a good week. Wales versus Aussie Sunday. Who do you fancy Wales? Yeah, we spoke about it extensively in the fan forum. I do think the Welsh should take it. It's a big word, that should. They definitely, I think, if they put out a good side, which I believe they have, and they play the rugby we know the Welsh are capable of playing, then they should come out victorious. I think Argentina are a bit lost now at the moment, and you can see how different their selection is. Eddie Jones has to try something. Okay, number 15 there for Samoa, just kicking the ball out on the full outside of the 22. So putting aside under more pressure, the Argentines go the line up, they go to the back, driving more is set, and slowly make our way into the Samoan at 22. Well, Carl Smith disagreeing with me there, thinking Australia will win. I have to see. Sunday's going to be a cracker. Right, out to the right-hand side we come. Argentina looking to make a nuisance of themselves with ball in hand, although the Samoan defense causing problems, slowing that ball down. Montoya, strong run back up the center. Bertrano out to Alemano. And the Samoans not giving it up that easily, initiating or sort of installing and instilling a turnover. So excellent work by, I think it was big number 7, Lee. First man in, over the ball, strong, solid body possession, and Kremer's not able to move him. Has to be careful there, Kremer, and just clean out. But yeah, Samoa defense looking good. Thanks, Carl. Absolutely, it has collapsed slightly, so I will fix that in just a moment. It's very hot here in the Delta, so I have got my fan on, but I will fix that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I wouldn't have noticed. Okay, so Samoans now with an opportunity, ball in hand. Again, hoping to look to execute a bit of pressure. Just show us what they can do. Not good conditions, though. The rain is coming down really, really hard. So they go to the front. They find number 6, McFarland. Yet to see him really get involved. And then they go out to Lee in the center field. Go back to the left-hand side. Liliafano, a little dab kick over the top. Manages to stay inside, but it's the Argentines who pick the ball. So again, maybe kicking away possession just a bit too quickly. Getting messages from my technical director about the green screen. Will be fixed in the next break of play. Don't want to miss anything. Although Bertrano is poising to kick here. So while he does that, Let's fix this. There you go. None the wiser. Just like new. Thanks, Carl. Alison saying agree. Alan Robinson saying agree. Where's be hell of a game? Yeah, I think so. You know, Alan, how are you feeling about it as a Welsh supporter? Are you confident? I think that's a word not too many teams are able to use in this World Cup. But how are you feeling for that game? And Carl thinks that Australia will win. So, Alan, how are you feeling? And Carl, what do you say Australia will win? But why? Why is that something that you think will happen? Some interesting stats, though. Argentina has not missed a single tackle. And Samoa have missed 8. So good defense from the Argentines. Right, here we come off the back of a lineout. Argentines look to unleash their backline. Nice little interplay here. Buffelli then stabs it through to try and set free Carreras. But it does. The ball wins the race. And nice little bump off there from Lamb. Big Samoa, number 11. Martin then gets it out. Little dab ahead. They're able to keep it inside. Oh, thought he couldn't get the offload there. Was 13. So Tenny, a little bit scrappy on the right-hand side here. Ball does come out. Who's got it? Taken to ground quickly. The Argentines all over the place. Yeah, you did feel they did go off their feet there, did Montoya. So Samoan penalty. It's good work by Samoa. Again, just need to make more of the correct decisions more of the time. Okay, Carl's saying that he thinks his reason for Australia winning is Australia has tendency to come back great after a bad defeat. Yeah, I mean they'll be licking their wounds after the Fiji defeat. But is this the side? And again, another thing we spoke about in the fan forum. Where's the experience and who are the players that you go to rally around? Where where the guys that say, look, we've been through this before, like this is what we need to do, blah blah blah. You know, where are those experienced heads? And that's where you potentially miss guys like a Quade Cooper and a Michael Hooper. Right, Samoa off the top of the line, out to the backs, Lee, and then to Manu, who knocks it on. So advantage to Argentina. So we will have a scrum. So we are starting to see play just break down, really. No real prolonged sets of phases here. Which is what we'd like to see from both sides. You know, both sides are able to play such exciting running rugby. However, conditions in France not conducive to that, unfortunately. Martin Marcel, vamos Pumas. Welcome, Martin. Great to have you here. Yeah, doing all right. The Pumas are Los Pumas, 7 points to nothing. Samoa not doing themselves any favors, though, early on with that yellow card, 35 seconds in. But still, to only be a try down, 21 minutes done. We are not seeing the water break, so slightly different from the last games. You know, usually around the 20-minute mark because of the heat, we've seen teams get a water break, but Nick Berry does seem to be keeping the game going. So scrum time, Argentine feed. Bertrand looks right, comes left. A little bit of charge down. So ball is going to go out, come off of a Samoan player, I believe. So we should have an Argentina lineout, and indeed we do. Evan H saying the Aussie team is such an unknown quantum. Nice use of the word. Really going to be a gamble of who turns up. Yeah, that's it, right? You just don't know on the day who shows up, what condition they do. It's going to be a thriller, no doubt. You might notice there's one game I'm not talking about this weekend. That will also be an absolute cracker. Right, the Argentines, center of the lineout. Montoya has it at the back. Penalty advantage to the Argentinians. I think the Samoans penalised for coming round. Rolling Moore making its way up the field. So we go. Bertrand looks to release the backline. Carreras out. Steams have gone forward, unfortunately. So a bit of knocking on there. So again, trying to look to make better use of that advantage, right? You really want to. You've got license to play there. So it'd be better to see, just a bit more from that side. But we will come back for the Argentine penalty. but it seems there also was an offside call. So Argentina given the choice between the penalty at the rolling maul, which is on the left-hand side, or pretty much smack bang in center field. And guess which one they've gone for? So Argentina here taking the center penalty and pointing to the posts. Again, this is a smart decision. You're only 7 points up. That lead can disappear very, very quickly against a side like Samoa with such dangerous runners and can score from anywhere on the park. So Argentina choosing to go for the 3 points and just put that little bit extra of a buffer between them. Once again, guys, if you haven't already, please make sure hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you can become a channel member, it's really, really appreciated. Once again, a massive thank you to one of our channel partners, which is BOYLESPORTS. So, do you want to put your money where your mouth is? We've got some score predictions there. The good news is Forever Sports has partnered with BOYLESPORTS, and it's the official betting partner of the channel. Go check out Chris's tips on where he thinks to put your money, but you can always make your own decision. And there's never been a better time to join with that £1,000 that you can match, or BOYLESPORTS will match your first deposit. So Bafeli does slot the kick, and so Los Pumas are 10 points ahead of Samoa. About 25 minutes in. I don't think we've seen much from either side. No real clear indication of what either team is looking to do. More so from Argentina, we've seen them try use their backs. Nice interplay between forwards and backs. But from Samoa, there's not been much. They've not been able to string together many phases. So Argentina possession in their 22, right on the left-hand touchline. Argentine forward almost losing it in contact there. But they will look to clear. So Bertrano sets the train, boxes, does find touch. Samoan fullback thinks about going quickly, does Pa'aiua Aua, but then does not. So they will set a line out still in Argentina territory. What can Manu Samoa do here? What can they bring from some threatening plays? Like what can we see here? What can they do to try and unpick this Argentine defense? Hasn't had to work that hard, although they've not missed a single tackle. So yet at the time of that stat, so they've been doing what they've been doing well. Evan asking about who do we think goes through from this pool? I think it was I think Carl, potentially it was you saying earlier that you see Samoa going through, I think it is very open, which is really excellent. I think winner of this game is definitely a big one. This is a do or die for sure. Japan, historically, in the last World Cup, the last 2 World Cups have been strong. However, coming to this tournament, we've seen them lose a bit of form. So I do think this pool is very much open. You would have thought before the World Cup started, it was Argentina's second place. I would have thought. That's what I did think. But now a very different question. Evan, I don't know, what is your thoughts? Are you siding with one? Do you think if Argentina clinch this, then they sort of build a bit of positive momentum? Right, penalty here, right on the 15-meter. About 42, 43 meters from the try line. So probably about a 45, close to 48-meter kick here for Cristian Di Stefano. That penalty coming from the line out. Yeah, 49 meters. Not an easy one. He lines up to kick. And able to curl it round nicely. Oh, it hits the crossbar and it goes over. Surely that's worth like 10 points. Excellent kick there from Cristian Di Stefano. A little bit of a cheeky smile on his face. Just had the distance. Gets it to hit the crossbar and bounce over. But good work from the Samoan number 10. Samoan fans starting to enjoy now. They are on the scoreboard. Right, Argentina get us underway again. High hanging kick up center field. They do compete, but it is Luatua who goes up, collects that ball, brings it down safely. Kauma 10 then finds Leofano, who hangs one high, but a bit far for any sort of competition. Number 10, Carreras, links up with 13, Moroni, takes it into contact. Bertrano then out to Carreras. And then the ball just knocked forward, unfortunately, by Martin Gonzalez, who thought he found a half hole. Here goes Theo McFarland. Again, haven't seen much of the big number 6. Leofano then finds a bit of space, but sort of grubbers one through into no man's land. But Argentine winger is back there, Carreras, to collect. So he hoists one up in the air, gives good chase, but deep into the 22. And Leofano calls the mark. So play will come to a bit of a break. Yeah, Evan saying, I feel Argentina versus Japan for second spots unless Samoa take their spot now. Absolutely. I think I'm there with you. Winner of this game then has to go on and take on Japan. No easy task. So from the mark, then Leofano kicks us downfield. Out into the touch. There will be an Argentine ball because of the short arm. So Montoya sets to throw. The Argentine center of the line out. Matera then off the back out to Carreras. Then links up with number 11, the winger Carreras. Again, the Argentine ball disrupted, but illegally, says referee Nick Berry. Unfortunately, again, the Samoans making a real hassle of themselves at ruck time, but that time not in a legal sense. Nice work from Bertrano there off the shoulder of Manu. So I think it was 13 who was penalized, and that is Seuteni. Just kind of found himself on the wrong side of the tackle. Argentines are crying for a ball. Argentinian fans getting really involved. So penalty, they are not taking the points though, going to the line. Carreras kicks them just outside the Samoan 22. So good attacking platform here. Penalties conceded pretty evenly across the two sides. So 4 for Argentina, 3 for Samoa. So it's the Samoans' defense, bar the early yellow card, their discipline rather has been quite good. So can they maintain that as the game goes on? Right, they go to the center, set the driving more. Matera comes around off the corner again. That pass looking suspiciously flat/forward. Bertrano finds number 5, Alemano, takes it into contact, more picking and going from the forwards. Montoya now decides to take matters into his own hands, drives it up. Bertrano finds Petty, but looked quite like a thumping tackle. Again, Terra there not making much positive ground. Argentines just trying to suck in the Samoan defense and then potentially look to unleash the backs. Everyone's slightly crowded, little pick and go from Petty around the corner there. Bertrano now looks to the right, now gives it to Carreras. Out to the centers, almost an intercept, but number 12, Cocobaros, does well to get away there. Bertrano now comes back to the left. That ball needed to be slightly quicker. Slow service from the Argentine number 9, not allowing the Argentines really to get going. You can see them bouncing on their feet, ready to go. But the ball just taking half a second too long. Back out to Carreras, the side now, out the back pass. I think it's Kremer taking it into contact. Bertrano has to dig. Goes into contact himself, knocks on the ball. Leofano now, Samoa. Looks to clear and find space. And the ball eventually rolls out into touch. So good clearance finder from the 15. Paia Awa. But Argentina have gone quickly. It's gone to 5 meters. The ball was still live. Good counter, or you could sort of call it a counter here from Argentina. So again, can they keep the discipline now to take advantage of that smart play? Kremer taking the ball into contact, bobbling it before though. Bertrano now will look out to Chris. There is space on the left-hand side. There are 3 on 2. A little bit of a step inside there by Carreras, normally so deadly from this position. Samoa doing well to cover, but you feel like an Argentine try is potentially inevitable if they're able to hang on to the ball here Forwards crashing it up the field. McFarland going off his feet and penalty given offside. Samoans, unfortunately, just a bit too eager. Racing up out the line, about 6 meters out from the Samoan try line. Almost smack bang in front of the posts. Indeed, offside is the call. Campo 675, this is the second game for Argentina. Yes, absolutely it is. The first game was against England, which I think they would be quite disappointed with their performance in that game. So far, a slightly better performance in this one, although still not, still not the Rugby Championship Argentina side we've seen. But then again, World Cups are different. They are a different beast, and for some teams, it could just take a little longer to find comfort in them and just to continue to do what you've been doing all year round. Tana Umanga there on the radio giving instructions to his sports staff. So the Argentines have, I think, gone for the smart decision, taking the 3 points, which Buffelli does with no problem. Again, your margin only 7 points. Now back up to a margin of 10. It just allows you some breathing room, can play a bit with a bit more freedom. Evan saying number 9's bleached mullet looks like he's paying homage to Faf. Absolutely. Although, there is only one genuine Faf, but it is still a pretty spectacular mullet. So much so that needed to dye it blonde to get more attention to it. Okay, so 10 points ahead. Crazy stat just popped up on screen. 42 rucks won by the Argentinians and only 20 by the Samoans. It'd be interesting to do that as a proportion of your possession, because I do feel if you look at it that way, it might be a bit fairer. The Argentines just bobbling the restart. Kremer there knocking it on. So Samoa will look to attack from within the Argentine half. And again, can they keep possession, build those phases, build that pressure, and ultimately turn it into points? Yeah, a little bit of a miscomms there between the Argentina players, excuse me. But Samoa, I think it was Theo McFarland executing that tackle, so putting in good pressure. Yeah, Tana Umanga there, the defense coach, legendary All Black. Despite the conditions, though, not seeing too many scrums. Hasn't felt an incredibly sloppy game. There was one moment, passage of play or couple period of play rather, that I thought potentially we might like that, but scrums have been few and far between, and they've been decent. Samoa really looking to drive strongly up the field, earning themselves the penalty advantage. Right, so license to play with a bit of freedom here. Leofano looks to chip it through, unfortunately, straight into an Argentina player. And again, frustrating when you've got that penalty advantage. You really want to take advantage of it. Just give it out to your speedsters, give it out to your playmakers. Let's see what they can do with ball in hand. They can throw a bit of a looser pass because you've got the advantage. So we're having a conversation with Nick Berry about where to take the penalty, and they have pointed to the post. So again, smarter play by the Samoans. You've still got about 3.5 minutes in this half. Excellent scrum from the Samoans there. Really, really strong work, earning themselves the penalty. But yeah, I do think penalty kick is the right decision. Or going to the post, is the right decision. Bring back that, just close that points differential, get the ball back in hand from the restart, look to score again then, before half time. I think if Samoa can score once more, try all penalty before the half here, they'll be in real contention. Argentina not looking too comfortable in their own attack. Defenses look pretty solid. Few disciplinary issues, penalties given away, but I don't ever feel like the Samoans have looked like they're going to break through the Argentine defense. It's looked pretty solid. Right, Leofano poises to kick. Hooks it left again. So just something off today, unfortunately, for Christian Leofano. Hooking that one to the left. Again, showing us how vital having a solid, reliable kicker is in these test matches where games can be decided by one missed conversion or penalty kick. So that's I believe 2 missed kicks from Leofano now. So that score is 13-9 then effectively. what could have been. I know it doesn't really work that way, but interesting to think. Right, Leofano hooves it back up. Good attacking just outside the 22. Strong tackle there from Wong. Good counter ruck, but the ball is left behind, and then Carreras with no one over him. He was off his feet, decided to pick it up, so earning the penalty again. So Samoa now probably thinking, right, do we go for the post or do we potentially go downfield and try a line out? Yeah, you can see Boy there pointing to the line. Samoans will look to get deep into Argentina territory, and then a solid line out here needed by the Samoans with what? 1.5 minutes left. Yeah, good pressure from Samoa. On the kick chase, Wong doing an excellent tackle there. And then I believe it was Tau Matian, the number 9, initiating the counter ruck, noticing the lack of Argentina sport players. You can see how stoked they are. Okay, big line out here for Samoa. First job, find your man. Second job, more, you would imagine. Right, the hooker Lamb does not find his man. I believe it was potentially Kremer there up in the air, able to disrupt, ball being knocked backwards, taken over the try line and dotted down. So Samoa will come away with a 5-meter scrum. Might have been number 4. Let's see. No, it was indeed number 4. Petty there for Argentina going up and not allowing Samoa to get hands on the ball. But again, good follow-up there from the Samoan forward defenders, forcing them to take that ball over the try line and putting the Argentines in an uncomfortable position before halftime. Just over a minute to go. Scrum on the 5-meter, all the way to the right-hand side. You've got a pretty decent blind side. Argentines have put 2 defenders on the blind side. And then you've got the rest of the field. So nice attacking platform for Samoa here. What can they do with it? First job, solid scrum. Second job, mayhem. So the scrum is solid. It is holding. The ball works its way to the back. It does go down. Referee collapse more. So I do feel like if the ball is available to play, a little bit of handbags there between Kremer and McFarland. But nothing more than that. Maybe a bit of frustrations boiling over here. So 20 seconds left of the half. We will have a reset scrum. What I was saying, sorry, before the handbag tossing is that if the ball is available at the back of the scrum and the scrum does go down, I know the refs sometimes blow it and sort of reset the scrum, but sometimes they say ball is available, play. So if anyone in the chat can help me out with why potentially sometimes, I know potentially dangerous, if the scrum does collapse, those front rows could be in a dodgy position, but then why do sometimes referees allow it to go on? I've never been able to quite crack that one. So scrum set pretty much in the exact same position. Still a good attacking platform here for Samoa. 15 seconds left of the first half. Both sides really fired up. Ball is fed in, solid scrum. Out, the ball comes to the right-hand side, and unfortunately it is a knock-on. Argentina here will look to potentially counter Carreras in not acres of space, but strong handoff, but good, nicely held on by Leofano there defensively. Argentine penalty. So will Argentina have this last say of the half? Number 1, Gallo hopping and stepping his way up the field. Good ground gained by him. Real swing of momentum. Unfortunate for Samoa, a little bit of a bounce pass and then a knock-on. But we will come back for the penalty against the Samoan player. Just being offside. Looks like he was entering that ruck. Daniel Dewar saying you need to shave the mustache before the game tomorrow so Ireland don't get the luck. Yeah, potentially might need to do that. The Irish don't need any more luck. I mean, to be honest, they're not relying on luck. They're relying on good form, which they've been in, and they've been in really solid form. So it's going to be an absolutely cracking game tomorrow against the Irish. So that knock-on coming from the number 9, Tau Matian, taking it really flat to the line and just a bit too flat. getting tackled before he was able to release that ball. But Argentina doing well to sort of counter from deep in their half. So the Argentines kick it up the field, not the greatest kick, just over halfway. Montoya looks, finds Petit, center of the line out, driving more, making meters up the ground, but towards the touchline. So they'll look to keep it in field, and they do not. So Samoans doing well there to drive them out into touch, bringing the first half to a close, guys. So I won't talk too much about it, but we will come back and discuss it later. However, in the chat, let me know what your thoughts are about that first half here between Argentina, who sits on 13 points, and Samoa at 3. Very quickly, I thought it was going to be much more of a one-sided affair. I think when Samoa got that early yellow card, I thought, okay, the Argentines would take big advantage, but they have not been able to, and that might have something to do with the conditions. Slightly wetter ball, just not allowing them to play the pattern they'd like. But all credit to Samoan defense, who's looked really solidly. So in that chat, guys, let me know what did you enjoy from that first half. What do you think both sides will look to do better in the second? But I will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes to then bring you the second half of the clash between Argentina and Samoa.
Hello and welcome to Forever Sports. My name is Reese. I'll be talking to you a little bit today about one of our channel partners, BITDEFENDER. BITDEFENDER is a global leader in cyber security. BITDEFENDER is committed to defending people all around the globe against cyber attacks, as well as to transform people's digital experiences. In the next 6 months, Forever Sports will be covering major tournaments such as the Rugby Championship, the Premier League, the remainder of the Formula 1 season, as well as embarking on the biggest Rugby World Cup YouTube campaign ever. To ensure that these are all a success, it is imperative that the Forever Sports channels and platforms remain uncompromised. And with BITDEFENDER, we can be assured that our cybersecurity needs are being taken care of. To read more on BITDEFENDER, please be sure to check the links in the description of our video. Once again, thank you very much to our partner, BITDEFENDER, for joining the channel. I've been Reese here on Forever Sports. Thank you very much.
Hello everybody, Stevie P here from Forever Sports, and I'm here to tell you about BOYLESPORTS, the official betting partner of Forever Sports. Across all of our channels, they are one of the leading betting companies in the world and have recently launched in South Africa with an amazing offering. You can get a 1,000 Rand welcome offer. For the rugby, they are giving you 25% payout boost up to 2,000 Rand on the Springboks winning the World Cup, as well as an extra 50 Rand bet when you stake 250 more on rugby during the Rugby World Cup. It is your one-stop betting shop. That is BOYLESPORTS. Come and join us in the community. Check the links in the description to sign up. Get yourself an account and make sure that you are winning big with BOYLESPORTS. Hello and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sport for today's World Rugby Rankings preview. The third round of the Rugby World Cup gets underway tonight, and with it, there are a lot of permutations, lots of things that can happen, lots on the line with regards to how the world rankings are affected, especially because the number one spot is up for grabs. 1 versus 2 in the Springboks versus Ireland this weekend, which will affect the number one spot. Ireland got an opportunity to put themselves way ahead, whilst the Springboks got an opportunity to try and get themselves back to being, at least from a ranking perspective, the best in the world, as they currently compete to be named the best in the world. And after a 7-1 split announcement yesterday, very interested to see what will happen between South Africa and Ireland. Now, before I look at some of the permutations, and there are quite a few of them, so you're going to have to sort of buckle in a little bit and understand exactly what is on offer and at stake this weekend. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, let's go through them, shall we? So World Rugby has published these ranking permutations, so it's a bit of a preview as to what's going to happen over the next few days in terms of the different clashes. Now, if you're new to the ranking system, there's a whole bunch of things that usually come into play. However, at the moment, there is no home or away advantage, which usually does come into play. But because these are all neutral grounds, for example, even France, it's a neutral game because it is a tournament. They will not receive any different ranking points due to them having the home ground advantage, which means the only thing that are currently affecting the rankings are a win, loss, or draw, and then a win or loss by 15 or more points. So those are the only factors that are affecting the rankings, not home and away as well, which usually come into it. Obviously, what does affect the amount of points you can get for those sort of different factors will still depend on sort of the ranking of the team you're playing against. So, for example, there are more ranking points on offer when you play against a higher team than when you play a low-ranked team. So, let's have a look at it, shall we? Now, the first thing is the number one ranking is on the line in the Pool B encounter between Ireland and South Africa at St. Denis on Saturday. South Africa could end Ireland's 14-month reign at the top if they are to win. And Andy Farrell's men will actually drop down to third. So Ireland will go down to third if France are victorious over Namibia. And if you've seen that French side, I think it's a pretty good bet. This is despite the fact that the World Cup hosts can improve their rating as a result of the 28.98 rating points between the two sides. However, Ireland will hold on to the number one ranking if they draw with South Africa, even though it won't be a lot of points. So if they draw, they will still hold on to the world ranking, world number one, but they'll be only number one by 0.09 points. A win would see Ireland's cushion over South Africa grow to as much as 6.05 ranking points if the margin of victory is more than 15 points. If beaten, South Africa will also slip below France, a victorious France, into third place. So a win first, a loss third. We won't stay second, as far as I understand, this weekend. Defeat for France, however, would see them drop below New Zealand, who do not play this weekend, into fourth place. However, they can fall no further than fourth. So the top four teams will not change with regards to anybody moving into the top four. Just the positions of them might change as well. Two other teams that are unable to improve their rating points are England and Scotland, even if they have victories over Chile and Tonga, respectively. England's rating is 22.75 points better than Chile's, while Scotland's is 13.4 points higher than Tonga's. Scotland and England, therefore, will remain 5th and 6th, respectively, with victories. England could move above Scotland if they were to win and Scotland were to lose. If Scotland were to lose, they could be falling as many as 5 places to 10th if they were to lose to Tonga, depending on other margins and results. A defeat could see England drop to a new low of 9th, depending on other results. A draw between Wales and Australia, one of the biggest clashes of the weekend, could actually could see their Pool C rivals Fiji climb 1 place to equal their base position of 7th at the expense of the Welsh, whilst Fiji, who do not play this weekend, could actually jump as high as 5th if England and Scotland both lose and Australia and Wales draw. Australia will fall to a new low of 10th if they lose their Pool C meeting with Wales and Argentina beat Samoa. However, victory for the Wallabies could see them jump as high as 5th in the event that England and Scotland both suffer shock defeats. So England and Scotland lose, Australia win, they can go up to 5th. Defeat for Samoa will see them drop down to 2 places to 13th if Italy and Georgia beat the lower-ranked Uruguay and Portugal, whilst a win for Samoa will see them rise to 9th, climbing above both Argentina and the loser of the Wales-Australia match. Manu Samoa have not been ranked as high as 9th since 2015. Portugal will become the higher ranked of the two nations for the first time if they beat Georgia in Toulouse, whilst they have not beaten their rivals since 2005, but a new high awaits them if they can record their first ever World Cup win. Portugal could climb as high as 13th, depending on the margin of victory and the result of other matches. Georgia, on the other hand, will fall 1 place below Japan if held to a second draw in as many years by Portugal, 2 if Tonga shocks Scotland. They can only improve on their 13th place in victory if Italy fail to beat Uruguay or Samoa are beaten by Argentina. If both of them lose, then Georgia will climb to 11th, the record-equaling position they were in when the tournament kicked off. Uruguay will have to beat Italy by more than 15 points to become the higher ranked of the two nations, a scenario which would see them equal their highest position of 14th. Defeat for Italy would see them fall 2 places, between 2 and 4 places, depending on the margin and results of teams around them. A win for Tonga against Scotland will see them climb above at least Japan, with the Brave Blossoms not playing this weekend. Any further games will depend on the margin of victory and other results. Namibia will return to the top 20 for the first time since 2017 if they can beat France, whilst Chile can enter the top 20 for the first time if they can upset England and record their first ever Rugby World Cup victory, and Namibia fail to beat France. Simple. So there's a lot going on, and that's the nice thing about World Cups. There's so many matches, differently ranked teams and stuff like that. So some games have a lot of jeopardy, some of them have no jeopardy. The big thing for me is obviously that first spot, first place is up for grabs. After that, I think the 5th, 6th, 7th is interesting. Wales is going to be interesting. Wales, Australia, they could be falling quite low or rising quite high. So there's a lot to play for this weekend with regards to the rankings, if you count them all, and if you really sort of high them in high esteem, which a lot of people don't. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Can South Africa beat Ireland? Who will be the number 1 ranked side come Monday? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon. Right, hello Wes. Hope the watch along's going well. So I should check in and show you guys what the fan park's looking like over here in Paris. So a lot of the Ireland and South African fans are packed in here. I'm making myself a beer. On the big screen there, 2 screens, halftime entertainment. This was like to watch a game in Paris. Hope you guys are all in. I will see you guys all tomorrow for South Africa versus Ireland.
Right, welcome back, everyone. We're just about to kick off for the second half, and here we go. The Argentines get us underway now from left to right, deep into the Samoan 22, but well taken there by Samoan number 8, Luatua. We'll have to see what both sides can do now as they come out of the dressing rooms. Undoubtedly, strong words from both sets of coaches. Both teams, I think, will feel that they have more to offer. I think both sides, as we said, so capable of playing good running rugby, but just not seeing that in the first half. So Tua Matien boxes and takes us out for an Argentina lineout. But thanks, guys, for getting involved in the chat there. Hugo saying that Samoa is screwing up with their penalties. There was, just a few discipline issues. I also think, possession of the ball was an issue. Evan giving a bit more there, saying for the match, Argentina needs to be better use of their possession. They look subpar. Absolutely, I agree. They haven't looked that threatening. They took advantage of the one-man overlap, which was great, but, to be expected. But Samoa need to improve with possession, 100%. They've kicked away a bit too much ball. Maybe that's more a conditions thing. The rain does seem to have eased up a bit, so we hopefully might see the second half tightening up a little bit. But in the meantime, Argentina have gone to the line-out and a rolling maul, slowly making its way up the field and eventually taken down by the Argentinians themselves. So Bertrand out to Carreras then into the centres, a ball left behind for no one. Bit scrappy now on the floor. Just as I said, we might see things tighten up. This ball is still bouncing around. It is a Samoan advantage. Finally, number 5, Vu, takes it down into contact. Unfortunately, the Argentines, again, looking like they were going to unleash a nice little backline move, but not able to find any purchase. I think it was Cocobares, potentially, who couldn't find his man, maybe looking for Moroni, or Carreras coming off his wing. So Argentina have the ball now from a box kick. They do give it to Cruz Malia. Takes it into contact. Bertrand then out to his forwards on the left-hand side, out the back. Carreras now looks to find Carreras. Finds Buffelli, but again, who knocks it on. So just as scrappy as the first half. Theo McFarlane taking it into contact and strongly tackled. But we will come back for the knock-on advantage. So a bit of a frenetic start to the second half. Good pace shown by both sides. You can see that it doesn't look like to be any rain coming down. Fairly not happy with himself. They're taking it into contact, ball tucked under one arm, and then dislodged. Interesting, they haven't adapted, I would think, and clearly I'm not a professional rugby player, but in these conditions, ball in two hands, and that is the name of the game, possession in this game. So don't necessarily look to thread the offload. You're not going to get your hands through and get that offload. That isn't, at least not the game I'd be playing. So interesting to, I would expect more players to have ball in both hands, really protecting that and trying to, as Evan said, like improve possession. And I think both sides can do that. Argentina have had more, but it hasn't been good possession. Alan's letting us know his dogs are fed. Excellent, Alan. Happy for the dogs. Now let's see Samoa turn this around. They are right in this. There's not much between the two sides in that first half. You do feel if they can get the wind behind them, get a try, score a lovely try, that momentum then shifts, and I think we'll start to see that positivity. We know how much these teams feed off that positive momentum. So hopefully Manu Samoa can get it going. Another strong scrum. The Argentines hold well though. The set piece has been good though for Samoa. Nice out the back, so they do look to run it. Little chip through, lovely little pick up there. Nice work from the Samoan backline. It was Manu, I think, who was on the floor picking that up. Ball then eventually is stripped, and the Argentines win a penalty. So Manu Samoa showing threatening signs there, finding a few holes in the Argentine defense, but unfortunately then discipline, as we just spoke about, letting them down. So nice little dink through from Leofano. I think it was not Manu, excuse me, it was, I think, Sotuene who ran onto that. And then unfortunately just playing the ball on the ground. So giving away the penalty, just frustrating, not able to build. They haven't got into the game. We need to see them start putting phases together and actually start to build. Stefan is feeling nervous for tomorrow's game. I have a feeling the Boks are going to lose tomorrow because they did not choose their best centre pair, Esther Hayes and Moody. No Grant Williams on the bench. We will have to see, Steph, if you are correct. I hope you are wrong. But the 7-1 split is a tactic that many people have lots of words to say about. But nothing's going to matter until about, 10, 11 o'clock. So the Argentines marching up the field, earning themselves a penalty from the rolling maul. So a little bit of license to play. What can they do? Good attacking option here. Lovely strong run from the 13 Moroni up the field, half breaking through tackles. Now we go to the left-hand side. Good offloading. Buffelli again able to hang on to that ball this time. Bertrano knocking it on from the base, but there is a penalty which will come back for. Unfortunate they're not able to do more with that because it was looking quite exciting, that Argentine attack. Nick Berry, I believe, calling over Montoya, yeah, just to have a conversation and to say potentially an option of penalties. So I think one on the right-hand side, or it looks like there's potentially a scrum advantage on the left. So Montoya says, no, we're going to take the penalty to the right-hand side because I'm pretty sure Carreras will look to kick this to the corner and the Argentines will go for the line. So Theo McFarland on camera at the moment, what can he do? You know, big performance last week, but being kept relatively quiet this game. Again, I think all of Samoa has not. We haven't seen much from them yet to get their teeth into the game. So hopefully they can look to swing this around for the second half. So Carreras does just that, takes us out into touch on the 5 meter. Excellent attacking platform for the Argentinians. You feel they'll be disappointed if they don't come away with some sort of points here. It's good pressure from them. Samoa having to absorb more. Right, they go to the front of the line out to Big Petty. They set the driving maul. It's worked well for them so far. Montoya at the back with the ball tucked safely under one arm. It is driving forward, but perilously towards the touchline. Montoya does well to keep it in. He has to be careful not to then get absorbed and not get that ball out should the maul collapse. It does go down. A little bit of a scramble for it. Nick Berry has deemed that possession will stay with Argentina. So lots of commentary going on. Interesting call from Nick Berry. Normally we see when those mauls go down that there is a change in possession. However, I do think maybe there was a breakaway from the maul, so it wasn't the initial maul that then got slowed. So he's having lots of words with the Samoans, who all look absolutely enormous next to Nick Berry. I think they would probably look enormous next to anyone. So here, just having a look on camera to see what transpired. Without hearing Nick Berry's reasoning, I can't see any clear reasoning for that, guys. If you can educate me as to why potentially Argentina have retained possession off that collapsed maul, I'd be more than grateful. Evan H saying 7-1 looks to be more fun to beat up Ireland a bit. I think SA will expect a strong performance, win or lose, should go through the quarterfinals. No need to just be close. Yeah. I mean, I think that potentially both sides, Ireland and South Africa, will go through the quarterfinals. But it's very much who do you want to play. But back to this game at hand, the scrum has gone down, but Nick Berry is saying play, so they do feed their backs out to the left. Buffelli taking it strong into contact, but being hit hard. Bertrano then finds Petty. Buffelli is down and looks to be in some real pain, sort of grabbing his throat, but play goes on. Bertrano then finds, is it Kremer, crashing into contact. Samoa has to release him there so he can get the ball backwards. It's better from Argentina. Definitely more threatening now. 2 meters from the line. Strong drive there. Just short. Advantage to Argentina. Buffelli seems to be back up on his feet. And we are coming back for the penalty advantage. It was the high tackle on Buffelli. He did look to be in some discomfort there for a while, but I think potentially the smell of a try got him back up on his feet, ready to play. But unfortunately, the ball not coming back his way. So lots of conversations with Samoa captain number 5, Vui. Doing his job, having a chat as a captain with the referee, asking for clarification. So Carreras will once again look to go to the corner. Samoa having to absorb a lot of pressure here. Similar to what they've done in the first half. They would have hoped to, I think, potentially had... Okay, right, yeah, we see there's the high tackle. Buffelli making a bit of a show of it all, but I'm sure, no doubt, it was quite sore on his throat. It was number 11, Lamb, there coming in with an arm around the neck. But we play on. Right, Argentina go to the back of the line, then off the top to Matera. Just popped it to the number 14, driving for the line. and it is a penalty to the Samoans. So really, really close there. Nice little interplay between Matera and was 14. Bufeli came screaming onto that ball, but it was deemed a double movement, so therefore a penalty to Samoa. So Argentina will be incredibly disappointed with that. They were hoping the Samoans were going to throw in numbers to counter the rolling maul, so they thought, well, we'll do something different. So here we see the replay. Nice line out to the back, then to Matera, coming around and chose potentially the right option. But yeah, okay, so went down. But one of the Samoan players in that tackle on the Bufeli, putting his body on the line, looks to be in quite some serious pain. But yeah, Bufeli being tackled and then never releasing the ball and getting up. So a double movement deemed penalty for Samoa. So Samoa will be chuffed with that defensive performance. Now hopefully they'll look to move themselves up the field. Oof, it is, yeah, number 13 on Bufeli there. So Seuteni, who took a sort of heavy contact, very heavy contact, and didn't really move after the tackle. So I reckon he might have to go out for a head injury assessment, HIA. Yeah, so Samoa chuffed with the defensive efforts. Argentina definitely disappointed that they've not come away with points from that visit to the 22. In good positions there, and definitely should have capitalized a bit more, I think. Seeing just a few highlights of Bufeli in this match so far. He has been quite pivotal, obviously scoring so far the only try of the game, but he's put in a strong stint defensively as well. Offensively, he's been making hard runs, but mostly neutralized. From the boot, he's been pretty good as well. So I think he will be pretty chuffed with the performance he's having so far. Right, 49 minutes done. So just about 10 minutes into the second half, I think Samoa will be looking to change their fortune a bit here. Ball in hand, as we said in the chat. They need to have ball in hand, need to have possession, string something together, put a bit of pressure on this Argentina side. Like, they've not had to do much, really. Argentina fans getting really into chanting from the crowd. So we are seeing number 13, Seuteni, come off the field, which I think is the right decision, given just how hard he went down and his response to that tackle. So we might not see him make another appearance in this game, which would be unfortunate. But Leuilia comes on, number 22. Wheeler. So Leofano then, looks to drive Manu Samoa down the field. Good touch finder, but still in the Samoan half. But better in their half as opposed to their 22. Right, tackles made. The Samoans have made 100. Argentina have made 40. Tackles missed. Samoa have missed 22. Argentina have missed 3. So we can clearly see that from the stats who's had more ball, and the Samoans not doing them any favors at the lineout, themselves any favors. Skew lineouts. Nick Berry seeming to have to argue that point pretty hard, but it was quite clearly on the opposite shoulder. So an easy decision there for him. So again, these small mistakes that we just let Argentina back into the game, take away any sort of pressure that you're able to build. So Simone Lamb will definitely look to do better at the next line out. What do we think, guys, in the chat? Pop me a message. Do you think that we can see a comeback here? A bit of an upset, I think we'd have to call it. But do we think there's going to be a comeback? Can Samoa mount some sort of attack? I mean, the margin is doable. It's one try to level the game, one converted try. It's just whether Samoa can actually string something together. Right, but here comes Argentina. Strong tackle by Manu, though. Little dink over the top. Falls into no man's land. Good pressure from Carreras. Excellent counter ruck. I feel like Argentina earning themselves a penalty. Potential to go quick. Samoa hanging onto the ball on the ground. great work by the Argentinians, identifying when the right time was to throw in energy and effort. That is smart rugby, high IQ level stuff there. We are on about the 6 meter, 7 meter mark, on the 5 meter from the touch line. So Carreras will look to tap this out into touch. Samoa just, again, and it all comes from, that unforced error at the line out. Just putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. But good work from the way of Carreras. And then the counter-ruck from Kremer and Matera. Excellent stuff from them. So the line-out's on the 5 meter. Here we go. Vines to the back. It is still with Argentina. It's messy, though. So, again, not what they would have planned for. Can they retain possession? McFarlane trying to get his hands over the ball. Do you have a substitute on for Argentina's scrum half? It's commanding. No, excuse me. Is this still Bertrand? Apologies. It's taken a little late there, but he's back in it. Argentina being driven backwards here. Kremer now with ball in hand, trying to take it up with the Samoan defense looking solid, as you would expect. Bertrand again comes to the right, takes it flat. Montoya now a little step inside. New advantage, though, for offside. So, again, that discipline not helping. Petty takes it to the line. Bertrand to the left then. Nice quick hands, finds no one, and then eventually spilled forward. But we will come back for the penalty. So that first poll has concluded about who do you think you guys will win. Sorry, who do you guys think will win, rather. Now the new poll is, can Samoa come back to win? So pop in your votes there. What do we think? Are we going to see a bit of a comeback? Or is this going to be Argentina's day? So looking at your scores there in the first poll, 60% of you saying Argentina's going to win. Roughly about 40% saying Samoa will win. Yeah, Evan nailing it absolutely in the chat there. Samoa can't seem to string multiple phases of attack, so I think it's Argentina's match to lose. Evan, I'm with you 100%. We do know how Samoa can score from anywhere, but to be honest, they've not looked that way today. Do you know what I mean? I can't really say, oh, that was dangerous, and that's exposed a big hole. And so I definitely do think it's Argentina's to lose, given how much territory and possession they've had in the whole game, especially the second half. So from the penalty, I think the Argentines have made the smart decision. Feli backs himself to go for the posts. Try and put just a bit more between yourself and the opposition. Samoa really struggling to get into this game. 52 minutes in, they should be well warmed up and into it. The rain has stopped, so things will still be slippery out there, no doubt, but definitely not like the first half. So 36-meter kick here. Not an easy one, though, from the right-hand side. Just outside the 22. And just about on the 15 to the Feli. Eyes up the posts. Steps to kick. And does the job perfectly. Slots it through the uprights. So 16 points to 3 is the score. Some fantastic face paint in the crowd there. Yeah, that will give, I think, yes, it is a point victory for Argentina, but given how many minutes they spent in the Samoan 22 and how close they've been to the Samoan try line, it is a small victory for Samoa not to have conceded a try there. And again, Samoa not doing themselves any favors by kicking the ball directly out into touch from the kickoff. So possession stats, 65% to Argentina. Funny enough, I thought it would have been higher than that. I mean, I don't think we've seen Samoa with the ball. You can see the coaches just really not too chuffed there. But it was the substitute, number 22, Louis Lea, who kicks a straight out touch and hands straight to the head. You can see he's disappointed with that. He knows he can do better. So Samoa just not able to get things going. We are having a substitute for the Argentinians, though. Number 20 is coming on. That is Bruni. And a host of Samoan substitutions as well. So Lamb is coming off. Number 16 is coming on. It is Malolo. Looks like, sweeping changes. So potentially some fresh legs and minds. I don't think the Samoans haven't looked tired. It's just been more a case of decisions, but it does look like we've got a whole new Samoan front row. So Martin Gonzalez is off, Bruni is on, and a new front row of Sama Malolo, Charlie Fuamina, and then Michael Alalatoa. So experience coming into the front row in Samoa, and the cooler heads bring things under control. Polo there saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Samoa beat England. No, I think given especially how England have been playing this year, and if the Samoans can put together a big performance, against a traditionally top nation tier 1 side, that would be quite something. So we go to the scrum. It is solid, but Nick Berry says play on, so no penalty advantage. Here come the Argentines down the right-hand side into a bit of space. Lovely little offload there into the hands of Boffelli. I think it was Kokobaris there, a little bit out the back door. Carreras then into his big men. Gallo being driven backwards, tries to offload though. Carreras wasn't ready for it, but we are going to come back for the penalty. So again, the penalty count really starting to rack up against Samoa now. We know the discipline was slightly an issue, but the penalty count does seem to be racking up. Again, just allowing Argentina to kick the ball downfield, keep possession, gain lots of territory. Samoa will need to clean this up if they want to stay in this game. So they did get the penalty at scrum time there. So not great that the Samoan substitutions not able to make a positive impact in their first scrum. And they have pointed to the post, so Boffelli will once again look to kick. Jackie Stradham saying, if they cannot beat Argentina, how will they beat England? Jackie, I wish it worked that way sometimes. So Boffelli here with a kick, 52 meters, pretty much straight in front. So big kick for Boffelli. But back to Jackie's point, it's a funny game, this, and especially given your opposition, and you can hype yourself up as a team and really, be in it for one game and not for another. So anything can happen. Boffelli strikes it well. However, it does just float its way to the left-hand side, so no good there. Argentina then Samoa not losing too much with that penalty kick. I think it would be a tall order, Jackie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that it's a shoo-in that Samoa will beat them. It's possible if they're able to put together a big performance. But the Samoa this World Cup, we've seen positive signs here and there, but I think unfortunately just not much consistency, which has always been the name of the game for these emerging rugby nations. Right, so we go deep into Argentina territory. Matera running now with ball in one hand, looking to make a nuisance of himself. Gets half through a tackle, then offloads it straight into the arms of a Samoan player. Ball is flung backwards. So a little bit of a counter-attack opportunity now. So Lee taking it up route one. Straight forward, but it's brought down well by the Argentine defense. Only missing 3 tackles so far. Here comes Merns to the left-hand side. Momatini finding his forwards in the center. Faumina getting involved. Coming back to the left side here. Nice little play from Merns. This is better. This is lovely running rugby, keeping the ball. Just need to keep their discipline, make sure they're making smart decisions. Runners not being isolated. Then Malolo taking it into contact. Coming down the left-hand side, the short side here, hoping to open up some space. Number 19 having to do well to stay in, and he did. And that is Seu, but then trying to keep the ball alive, throwing it back and throwing it straight out into touch. So unfortunate there, but better from Samoa. I think probably the most positive passage of play that we've seen them execute. So hopefully this is indicative of better things to come in the second half. Right, but the fullback, Pauawa, is off. And Toala is on. So 23, Danny Toala is on. What can he bring to the Samoan side? Right, we go to the center. Line out for the Argentines has been good all day. They managed to disrupt some of the Samoans. Montoya at the back. Rolling maul has been effective for them as well. They've been able to drive Samoa at least 5 meters almost every time. And Bertrand boxes, but that goes almost straight up. And, oh, geez, late hit there on Boffelli in the back. That didn't look good. Yeah, that looked really painful. So goes up into the air, collects the ball well. And then Lee comes in with... it's just a horrible shot to his back. Be surprised if they look at this. So let's see what happens. Sorry, guys. It's never lucky to see. It did look a bit dirty, but I don't think there'll be anything more in it. Just really unfortunate here. I think everyone sort of stops, obviously, because the ref blew his whistle. So you're not expecting the contact, so you relax, and then you get a shoulder from a man the size of big number 70 there. It's got to hurt. But it doesn't seem will be anything more on that. So so Samoa coming away with the penalty again off that positive play there. They will look to drive up the field and hopefully keep a bit of possession. Things do seem to be drying out. The Samoans are running better with ball in hand. But make sure you tune in tomorrow. So Georgia and Portugal. I'd be really curious to get you guys' thoughts on that one. We couldn't quite call that in the fan forum, so let me know. And then obviously England and Chile later in the afternoon. And then the big one, South Africa and Ireland tomorrow night. Right, but Samoa have secured their line out. Driving ball, not going very far. Kicking possession away, but there's no one at home for Argentina. It is a foot race. Manu just short. I think it was Bafeli who was able to just get there in time. Really, really good opportunity for Samoa. Not great to kick away possession on phase one, but it almost paid off. Argentina now will look to clear well from their red zone, which they do. And they make excellent ground there. So Bafeli scrambling to come across. So potentially something that was seen, a bit of space in the back there, almost paid off. But as I said, would have just liked to have seen them with a bit more ball in hand. You've struggled with possession the entire game. So it would have been great to see them run a bit more. But Michael Checker, happy with the defensive work his men are doing. Alan saying definitely Georgia. Yeah, I was leaning towards Georgia. They've not been that impressive, but they definitely are, I think, the favourites in the game. Will they be too physical for the Portuguese? Right, Samoa going to the line out in the centre. They bring it down now. They look to unleash their backs. But Taufua, one of the subs, coming on. Right, the Samoans trying new things. Theo McFarlane's trying to do a little bit of a pass back inside, but that pass going horribly forward. So Theo McFarlane pretty much shut out of this game. Not getting much opportunity to get into it, and then when he has, not executing. So Alan and Jackie on the same page there, thinking that Georgia will take tomorrow's game. I think that's who I picked in my SUPERBRU, so I do think Georgia will take it. I do think there's the potential for an upset. I think Portugal showed good heart in that first game. Moments of good play, but I do think Georgia will be the more experienced, sort of well-tested side. Another big game then on Sunday, Scotland and Tonga. We've not seen the Scottish since their game against the Springboks. It feels like it's been ages ago since that match, but really it's only 2 weeks. So we haven't seen them for a week, so they'll be raring to go. And I think the Scottish will fancy themselves. If they can put in a convincing win against Tonga, and then look to challenge Ireland, I think they will really hope to make an entrance that way. Right, so scrum time here. The scrum is solid, but the Samoan scrum holding strong. The Argentines come out to the right again, trying to kick it through on the ground there, but coming into contact with the Samoan player and then going out into touch. So it was Cruz Malia, the 15, the fullback for Argentina, trying to stab the ball through there, but unable to thread it through the Samoan players. So we have an Argentina lineout. Montoya has been solid all day, finding his jumpers really well. Montoya then picks and goes around the right-hand side, shoving off one, and then eventually coming back inside and going to ground. Bertrand distributes back to his forwards. Nice little pop pass inside to Gallo there, who takes it to ground. Bertrand calling in his troops, looking for the box again, so not wanting to run it too much. And who can blame them? Again, when you've got a defensive line like Samoa, potentially want to just challenge in the air and try to catch them off guard. And exactly that, they do extremely well there. Excellent take from the Argentine backline player. I missed who that was. I believe it could have been Bafeli. He's been excellent today, definitely playing himself into a man of the match performance here. So it's still with Argentina, just outside the Samoan 22. Bertrand looks to go left. Does to Matero, who pops it on. Bertrand now to the right to Montoya. Montoya around the back to Carreras. Carreras finds his support. Nice, lovely instepping there from Cocobaros, taken down well though. Bertrand to the left now. This is better from Argentina. But again, they'll want to look for quick ball here. Excellent work from Gallo, staying on his feet, driving up those extra meters. Montoya picking up from the base. McFarlane making an absolute nuisance himself. Excuse me, was Manu there. Bertrand then out to the left. And Argentina trying things but not finding much success. The Samoan defense looking solid, but they are making gradual meters. Bertrand bent to the left. Carreras through a half gap. Manu all over that ball and winning his team the penalty. So Argentina showing good signs, but nothing quite convincing yet. Nothing too threatening. Manu there to be 12 for Samoa, putting in an absolute defensive effort. I mean, the whole Samoan defensive line was really solid in that. But this was a great kick and chase here. I think it was Boffelli catching that in the air. Indeed, it is. Getting up above Lee. Yeah, I think so far for me, I'm not sure about you guys, but my man of the match has definitely been Boffelli. I think he's done all the basics well and more. Excellent touch finder then from Samoa off that penalty right against the touchline. That's good work here as you see the replay. So they again will be now in a good position, and hopefully Checker not happy with that decision. Shocker. Jackie's nervous for the Springbok game. I challenge you, Jackie, to find me a rugby watching enthusiast South African who's not nervous about the game tomorrow. All right, we go to the lineup, but Samoa unable to secure their own ball, so Argentina now have the ball and they kick it down center field. Collected by Samoa. Good press from the Argentines. Not finding touch. Going to counter here. Up it goes. Solid chase. Not in a contestable position, but good tackle there to put the pressure. Christian Leofano solid under the ball though. It is now Leuila at the back of the scrum. Scrum at the ruck, excuse me. To his big man inside, but stopped well by the Argentine defense. Coming up quickly, shutting down any room for attack. Little show and go here from the Samoans. So a little bit of that creativity we haven't been able to see all game. Ball comes a bit loose, still with Samoa though. Leofano then out to Manu. Now there's space and numbers. He has to give it to the left. He does, and it's knocked on. Lee is unable to hang on to that ball, and it's chaos. That was really unfortunate. Manu did well there to get through the half gap here. Does well to struggle off one through the gap. Offload. Lee just had to collect, draw, and pass. I think what happened is Lee just took his eyes off in the last moment as he saw the defense coming across. You can see the coaches up on their feet, knowing what could have been. I think that pretty much sums up Samoa's day, really. I mean, opportunities just not quite falling their way. So Bertrand is indeed now coming off and substituted by Kubeli. I think the Argentine 9 has put in a good effort. I think the distribution's been a bit slow. Carreras is off, and Sanchez is on number 22. Nicolas Sanchez, that is. And Thomas Kubeli. So, yeah, I just feel like Argentine ball has been a bit slow, allowing the Samoan defense to set, not allowing the Argentines any squeezing through. But Jackie saying that she's not got confidence. She doesn't have confidence, and she hopes that the team prove her wrong. Well, so do I, Jackie. I think all South Africans are feeling that way. No matter what, if you are a neutral, if you aren't South African or Irish, or potentially French or New Zealand, Kiwi, this is a mouth-watering game. World number 1 versus world number 2. No matter what happens, the rankings will change. The winner of that game will go up to number 1, and the loser will drop to number 3. So either Ireland retain first position, or they will drop to 3rd in the world. And they've been at first. I think it's something crazy now, I want to say 16 weeks or something like that. So it is a solid Irish team going to battle against the Springboks. All right, back to Argentina, Samoa. Still 16-3 after 66 minutes. So the scrum and set piece has been solid. Ball is available. Nick Berry says, please play. And Currie does. Back to Currie then, from Carreras, then out to Kokobaris, who identifies some space down the left-hand side. This kick might just go a bit long, or the bounce might be absolutely pinpoint perfect. That was phenomenal. And if I'm not mistaken, it might be a 50-22. And I don't think it was Kokobaris there. I think it was the 13. So let me not rob Moroni of his phenomenal kick, guys. I cannot, if you're not watching the game, this just went out before the corner flag. And you can see why the Samoan player was hoping it would bounce on the other side of the line. But my word, Tano Omanga, head in hands. That is a phenomenal little bit of kick. Definitely a bit fortuitous, a little bit of luck there. Bounce the ball, but this is rugby, and the ball is not round. So this is what we rely on. One of the Samoan players just receiving a bit of treatment here on his leg. Does look like he might come off though. So one of the props, number 1, Lay, who thought his day was done, might have to get warmed up again to come back onto the field. I think it is Alatoa who seems to be down, getting some treatment there on his legs. So that's not great for him. But the Argentine fans having a good time in the crowd. So a few Samoan flags being waved around. I think they won't be too happy with their team's performance. I think they'll be proud of the boys. We know how passionate they always are, but I think they would have hoped for a bit more of a showing. I think if there was an opportunity for Samoa to cause an upset in this pool, I think this was definitely the game to cause a bit of disruption. There are the Samoan fans, though. Big smiles on faces. So not 50-22, I think, because the ball wasn't taken into the Argentine half. I think it came from a set piece. So it is a Samoan line-out. Still a tricky position, though. Argentina will look to compete for this, no doubt. A little bit of shifting around, trying to catch them off guard. They find Theo McFarland. Good work, but then it comes loose and went backwards. There's a penalty, though. So Argentina just potentially a bit too eager there. So Samoa come away with a penalty. So it looks like he's still on the field. They're able to find touch well. Jackie asking, Samoa's currently second in the pool. How much is this going to down them? Yeah, I believe this drops them probably down to 3rd place. Argentina will probably come up to 2nd. England remain 1st. So Argentina not having lost a single line of this game. However, Samoa losing 3. The Argentines making a nuisance of themselves at line-out time, really disrupting that ball, not allowing the Samoans to get into the game. So I think the Argentines have done really well at that, but I don't think Samoa have done themselves many favors, to be honest, with some of the choices they made. But they go to the back, they find Theo McFarland again. Now here comes Samoa, and it is knocked on. You guys can see the genuine pain in my face. Oops, and there is oh, here we go. Now the handbags are going. So Carreras there, number 11, taking on a man 1.5 times his size, maybe 2, in Lee. But unfortunately here, one of the substitutes, D'Angelo Luila, just knocking it on as we see Carreras come through. And again, we can see the coaching staff, Samoan coaching staff, just not angry, but disappointed. I think the Samoan players themselves will be disappointed with their performance. They're just not really able to find a way into this game. So we will set for the scrum. Has been good for both sides. It's been pretty solid. Argentina able to milk a few penalties, though, but not this time. Out we come to the right-hand side. Better stab through from them on the ground, but it bounces up nicely for number 11, Lamb, who hoists his own kick downfield, but collected well by Cruz Malia. Not had much to do, the Argentine fullback. Hasn't been tested in the air very much. So Belly then out to Montoya. Montoya out to Carreras. Tries to loop one over the top. And that was a forward pass. Trying to do the quick hands there. Was unfortunate. Carrera's ball in hand and in space. I think it was Moroni trying to just shift the ball on a little too quickly, and that pass going forward. So it was 22 there, excuse me. Nicholas Sanchez out to Moroni, and then Moroni's little quick hands was a one-handed quick hand was no doubt incredibly forward. But yeah, again, just being a few points ahead, more than one score allows the Argentinians to try some of this. You know, be creative, have a go. Why not? You 16 points through, you're 13 points ahead. 10 minutes to go. It does feel like a bit too much of a mountain to climb for Mano Samoa, especially given what we've seen from this game. Again, they just haven't looked that threatening. There's been that one passage of play where they've looked positive. There was the one breakdown where unfortunately Lee knocked it on, but other than that, I can't really point to any examples and go, yeah, that's looked good. So Moroni is coming off the field. He's had a pretty solid game on attack and defense, and Sinti is coming on in his replacement, number 23. So another scrum. So initially we weren't having that many scrums, but it does feel like the scrums are starting to rack up a bit, although, as I said, the set piece has been good for both sides. Not a bad attacking platform here for the Samoans inside the Argentine half, on about the 15-meter. We're in 6 with the 10-meter, so scrum feed is good. Scrum is solid. Lovely shot to the stadium and the skyline there. Right, Liliafano then. Here come the Samoan backs. Nice bit of running rugby from them. Can they maintain possession? Can they string together some phases? Put pressure on Argentina, who have not had to do that much defending today. Defending's been good from what they've had to do. Montoya getting involved, slowing the ball down. The captain taking around the edge, but the Argentine defense really strong, driving him sideways and eventually backwards. Ball is slow. We can see the frustration there from the 9, Tau Martin, wanting quicker ball, but Samoa careful not to isolate themselves, and the ball is lost forward somehow. So it's either stripped, stabbed through. It's a bit messy now. Difficult for the Argentinians to collect, but that looks a bit dangerous being dove on. But it does look like Nick Berry is going to check something. But no, call is deemed that the Argentine fullback, Cruz Malia, someone who said didn't have much to do this game, took the ball over his line. So it was stripped there from the Samoan player, came loose and then stabbed through. A bit of scrappy play there. But yeah, Cruz Malia bobbling, fumbling, and then taking the ball back over his own try line. And yeah, taken out. Again, you could look at that as being dove upon on the ground, something that players are not allowed to do. But Nick Berry just is carrying on with the scrum. So Montoya we see coming off, and it is Augustin Currie coming onto the field. So the incredible hooker for Argentina, the stalwart of Argentina rugby, makes another appearance at a World Cup. What a record he has, and he'll come in for the last 8 minutes and hopefully just bring a bit of a, maybe not a cooler head, but an experienced head, and help the rest of the pack see out this game with just over 7 minutes, or just under 8 minutes rather, to go. Connor Crowley, Connor, how's it? It's good to have you in the chat. Nice to hear from you again. Connor, I'm not doing the Irish match tomorrow. That is up to big Stevie P. He will be taking you through South Africa, Ireland, guys. So please make sure you do tune in for that one. It's going to be an absolute cracker. I'm sure Steele's got all sorts of insights and commentary awaiting for you. And yeah, it's been a while since I've said it. So if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel, and if you're able to, please become a channel member. But if you're not, no worries. Then we appreciate your viewership and your engagement. Huge, strong, solid run up the field by Samoa here by Lou. That was a good bounce from him. Good attacking position for Samoa. Theo McFarland, half a gap through there. You feel like this is Samoa's best attacking opportunity of the entire game. They should look to come away with it here. It's a knock-on, though. So not a great pass to Liliafano, though, but penalty advantage from the scrum. So what do Samoa do? Their line-out has been tricky. The scrum has been solid. If it was me, I'd be going for the reset on the scrum. The line-out has not been that reliable. Argentina have been able to disrupt. But I'm not on the field. And they've called for the line. So they are going to the line-out. Interesting call there after a solid scrum, where they've just won a penalty as well. But Anyway, as I was saying, if you can, oh no, a little tap and go. Excuse me, not going to the line. A little tap and go play here. We've seen more here. And up they go, number 16 there, Charlie Haumina, brought just short before the line. The ball a bit slow there. 17 Alala Toa then picking and going and distributing to Lee. Short of the line, 2 meters out. Samoa driving for the line 1 meter. Now are the Samoan forwards. Can they keep their discipline? Theo McFarlane getting caught, potentially not expecting the ball. Argentina trying to turn that over desperately, but Samoa doing well to keep the possession, and they are over. Samoa have scored. Excellent work from Manu Samoa there. You feel like it had to come. It had to come. It was excellent work, though, from the big men, picking and going, what it means to them. It is number 16, Asama Malolo, who crosses the try line for the Samoans. Good work for them. So Viola here will look to take the kick relatively quickly, actually very quickly, which was a bit dangerous because, okay, now it puts us at 16-10. Had he missed that, it would have been a different conversation. So Samoa now just needing 1 converted try to reign all over Argentina's parade. Evan H. Finally, it is finally definitely the best position they've been in, able to keep some phases together. Maybe trying to do too much in the conditions, with the rain, and instead of actually just playing a bit more of a tighter game and using the big men and going around the corners. But let's go. So the poll is closed. Most of you, 63% of you said no. Samoa cannot come back. So maybe the 36% of you might be right here. Game on with 4 and a bit minutes to go. Samoa now tails up, momentum behind them. Again, this is when these sides can be so dangerous, is when that positivity and that momentum shifts their way. But Christian Ilafana not with the best kick. However, it is untidily collected by the Argentines, but still with them. So here come Argentina in a good attacking position. Kremer offloading nicely in the contact. Nice stepping there from Nicolas Sanchez. Sanchez, center of the field. Kubeli then out to the big man. Kremer into contact once again. They keep kicking away possession. Absolutely, Evan, I'm with you. I don't know why. I feel like maybe they felt like there's a bit, bit too much in their half. And it is Augustin Creevy who knocks the ball on. Unfortunately, getting some love there from the Samoan number 9. Alan Robinson, just another converted try. Alan, you're absolutely correct. Just 1 more converted try. But tries have been few and far between in this game. Only 1 apiece. So you say just a converted try. But it's been difficult for both sides to just get that. You see the crowd getting in behind Samoa here. So what do we think? Are they going to kick away possession? There's a scrum inside their 22 on the 15-meter. Or do we think they'll try to run it? What do we think about Wes's facial hair? So the technical team, my director, producer, clearly doesn't have enough work, so we're starting to make some interesting polls. Is that a worm under his nose? What a manly mustache. 10 out of 10. I think it's time for a shave. So there's your latest poll, guys, in the last 2.5 minutes. Get your votes in there. Right, Manu Samoa, though, not focused on my mustache at all. They're going to run it from deep, and then they kick. But there is cover at the back there for Argentina, again, who now will hopefully play some smart rugby on their side and not kick the ball away with just over 2 minutes to go, and Samoa giving away a penalty, and you feel like that might be the game. So Manu there being penalized, I think, for hands on the ground. He'll feel aggrieved by that. So now you can just see the Argentines slowing things down, having a long conversation about what we're going to do. And all the time the clock ticks down. You can see there Samoa number 9, Tau Martin, they're saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. Nick Berry needs to be better with this here. Yeah, a little bit of, potentially, what's the word I'm looking for here? Intentional confusion there with the T coming on and going off and wasting a bit more time there. So Nick Berry just needs to have a look at this. So minutes and 15 seconds to go. They are going for the shot clock, so this will eat up at least another 20 seconds. Nicolas Sanchez will take his time all the way, you can imagine, down to the last second for this one. It is a big kick. They get it, and they are pretty much guaranteed the win. There we go, 10 seconds left. Strikes it cleanly, and he does find his way through the post. So massive kick from Nicolas Sanchez. You do feel like that is the final nail in the coffin. It does take it away outside of one converted try. So Samoa here, even if they do score, which they won't because there's been a knock-on by Theo McFarland. So it will be an Argentina scrum here. Unfortunate, Samoa just leaving it a bit too late. You know, this is the thing. They're such a, for me, like a positivity team, or sort of a mood and momentum team. When things are going well, they ride that, and then they just open up and they play really running, you know, lovely rugby. But this game, we've just not seen that from Argentina, from Samoa. They've really struggled to get into it, and potentially it could be the condition. Sorry, I'm just chuckling because Nicolas Sanchez absolutely cheering on his own kick there from after he made it from the tee. Jackie's saying, so Wes, if we win tomorrow's game, will you shave your mustache? I mean, anything, Jackie, anything's possible. I mean, I don't know, do I? Because then the question is, did the Boks win because of my mustache, right? I mean, not to take credit for the win if they do win, but I mean, you know, there could be something in it. It's a pity Samoa let this slip through their fingers. Yeah, absolutely. I think they just never really in the game, struggled to get into it, struggled to string any sort of phases together. Argentina, I wouldn't say threatening. I don't think they've looked particularly impressive. They've done the right things most of the time, which has been good, but earning themselves a big penalty here at scrum time. And Argentina might say, hey, we want more out of this. Matera's strong run up centre field. So we are in the red. Argentina are going to play on. Little dink over the top, but collected by the Samoans. No, it comes loose. Carreras now with ball in hand. But Nick Berry apologising. He potentially blew the whistle a little bit early there, because you do feel like, I think he thought that the Samoans collected it. But Carreras, in open play there, you would have thought Sanchez was through for all money. Sorry, not Carreras. Carreras also. Nicolas Sanchez looked like he was all over that ball. Yeah, really good kicking by Argentina. Samoa too little too late. Did not play the game. Absolutely, Evan, I'm with you. Again, it was good kicking, and we spoke about the importance of kicking. So there is the tap, and they do kick it out, and Argentina will say, that's enough of that. We're not going to get a bonus point. We've kept Samoa out from getting a losing bonus point, so we don't need to risk anything more. But Bafeli, I think, has had a massive game. For me, I think he's been the man of the match for Argentina. I thought Bertrand also did really well, although distribution was a bit slow. Forwards, I can't say there were many standout performances, although I was really impressed with Petit and Montoya. I think their line-out combination was a solid one. But that is it at full time, guys. 19 points to 10. Argentina over Samoa. So Argentina is still in this one, looking to get out of their pool stages, right? They've still got another game to go. But this is a step in the right direction after what can be said is quite a disappointing performance against England. Samoa, they're just, will be disappointed with their own performance, not able to wrap that up. So having a look at the final poll, 50% of you said Manny mustache. Thank you very much. Time for a shave, only 12%. So I guess it's sticking around, potentially. Right, yeah, agree. Next game, Samoa play. I also back Japan. Yeah, you do feel like it is going to be a tough World Cup for Samoa, potentially not coming away with one win in their pool games. Anyway, guys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here on the channel with us. A big thank you to you guys for tuning in with me, Wes. Make sure you come back tomorrow. As I said, there are 3 games on tomorrow. I will be streaming the England-Chile game. That's in the afternoon. First, though, it's Georgia-Portugal. And in the evening, then, Stevie P will be taking you through Ireland and South Africa. Then on Sunday, I'll be with you for Scotland and Tonga, and then the big one for the weekend for the Welsh and the Australians. Also going to be an absolute cracking game, guys. So thank you so much for joining us here on Forever Rugby, on Forever Sports. Before I go, a little bit of thank you to our sponsors as well and our channel partners, BOYLESPORTS and BITDEFENDER. None of this is possible without their support. And none of it's possible without your guys' support. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in, commenting, engaging. Yeah, really, really appreciate it. Liking the videos, subscribing, and becoming channel members. Finally, if you want to follow my adventures out in Botswana, go check me out on Instagram or TikTok. It's at wildlife_wes, so at wildlifewes, at wildlife_wes on Instagram or TikTok. Just of my time out here in the Okavango. It would be cool to connect with some of you guys on the social medias. Anyway, that's enough of that. So guys, have a lovely evening, and I'll see, hopefully, all of you tomorrow.